What's up, everybody? And welcome back to the BallGame podcast. I am the innocent bystander, Matt Sullivan.
I'm Trunks.
I'm Dean.
I'm Ortiz.
I'm Chris.
Yay. Week 3 of the NFL season is now in the books. We had 2 Monday Night Football games yesterday once again. I'm not a fan of that, personally. I don't
I'm
like
not.
This
Yeah,
was
I'm
last
not a fan.
Is that
of it
regular?
No.
This
I
is
checked.
the last week?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
It's not happening anymore.
I'm not a fan of that at this point. I think that's a terrible fucking idea for the NFL.
at least
no,
not-
it's a great idea for the NFL. They make more money, but
Yeah.
terrible idea for fans because, like, I don't want to keep flipping channels back and forth.
Do they make
personally,
more
but-
money?
Yeah, they do. Well, I
Really?
mean, think about it. There's
there's
two
two
primetime
games, yeah.
games now, which means that you have double the ad revenue because you have commercials from both of these.
I
channels.
didn't think about it from the ad revenue. I think because it would just be split viewership between the
Nah.
other NFL fans.
Nah, ad revenue and stuff like that. The viewership at that point is almost negligible because they make so much viewership that the ad money is kind of just so much more than it would be for viewership and stuff like that. So obviously it's a great business idea for the NFL, but for fans, bro, I'm not a fan
I mean,
of that.
I'm
as
not
a,
either. But
as
this
a fan,
is the last one. There's no more.
As a fan, the first few Monday night doubleheaders, there's been a clear better game to watch, at least, at the very least. Like, I don't got to really choose
I don't
wisely.
know what was the game to watch this week,
Yeah,
honestly.
last night
Yeah.
they were both rough, if I'm gonna be entirely
What
honest.
do you
But
mean? The Bengals game was a close game.
it was a bad game.
It was,
But it was at
so
least-
It was
boring
close,
to
but
watch.
it was a
close.
it was a
It was
yucky
a
game.
hard watch.
I can
There
tell
was-
you the
there
Eagles
were-
were beating the Buccaneers 10 out of 10 times.
I mean, yeah, we all knew that. But
That was a shit game.
there were no touchdowns scored for the first 40 minutes of the game. It's rough to watch both teams just punt back
It
and
was a
forth.
fucking field goal fest.
It wasn't even
and
a field
punt
goal fest. It was 6-6.
Yeah.
If you're a kicking enthusiast, that was your game.
Yeah, no. Honestly, we'll start off with that since we're already speaking about it. So yeah, obviously the Bengals defeated the Rams 19-15. What was it?
19 to
Breaking news,
16.
breaking news.
19-16.
Brandon Stewart won MVP.
Okay.
Sorry.
Congrats.
Congrats,
Yay,
Brandon Stewart.
Brianna. Yeah, Brianna. Yeah.
She's on the Liberty? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, she is. She's hooping with Sabrina Ionescu right now.
Wow.
But yeah, 19-16 final. The Rams had a late touchdown to bring this one close. It didn't feel close, honestly, for much of the second half of this game after the Bengals started to get it going a little bit. I will start off by saying one thing. Please sit Joe Burrow. Please. Because
If they played him last night, they're not sitting him. Like
I
they
know
won't.
that, but it's bad.
Oh, it's horrible.
It's really, really bad.
But at
Like,
the same time, what can you? They're not going to win without him.
A.J. McCarron,
No, I'll take
XFL MVP.
I'm taking an injured Joe Burrow over that any day of the week.
No, I agree and I understand it, but at the same time, like watching Joe Burrow, especially last night, his mechanics are all over the place. He's sailing throws. T. Higgins can't catch. T. Higgins looked awful last
In a
night.
contract year, what are you doing, dog?
Yeah, but Burrow was sailing everything, and he didn't look comfortable all night. Obviously, couldn't plant off of his leg, and it was ugly. It was very ugly, and I was honestly sitting there watching the game, and I was just like, at what point is enough, and we're just gonna sit Joe Burrow?
It's tough. We talked about it last week where we were like, who we worried about more, the Bengals or the Chargers? And this is exactly what we were talking about. Like,
Yeah,
if Burrow's playing like this, they're not going to win anything.
they won,
They won, but
like at what
it was
cost?
it was disgusting. I don't know about what cost.
Well, the
They-
offense-
I mean, they
won.
wouldn't have won the game if they
Exactly.
had Browning in there.
The offenses looked
exactly.
terrible through the first 3 games. This wasn't a secret. It wasn't like we came out thinking the Bengals are going to come in smoking teams. It's just how it's been the first 3 games.
'Cause he's
The
been
offenses
hurt.
look terrible. Yeah, the offenses look terrible.
They got Jamar Chase the ball more last night, which was a necessary fucking thing for them.
Mixon had a good run.
Mixon was playing well
yeah.
overall, honestly. Mixon was very good overall. It seems like the offensive line was getting some good push up front, especially in the run game. But yeah, I don't know. Personally, it's get the ball out of his hands quick, obviously, as he has the quickest release time, second quickest release time in the NFL now. Right now, currently behind Tua. It's rough. I don't know what else to say, and somehow they won. So I guess that's that's that. The defense looks fucking great, by the way.
Yeah.
Might I just add.
The D
that
line.
pass rush.
Yeah.
That pass rush is something different. Between Trey Hendrickson, DJ Reader, Sam Hubbard, they were getting after Matthew Stafford last night. So that won them the game, in my personal opinion, especially getting 2 picks off Stafford in that one. That won them the game.
The Bengals had 6 sacks yesterday.
Yeah, it was a dominant performance from the Bengals defensive line. Dax Hill had a huge game. There's some ballers over there. They have a great defense over there in Cincinnati that's coming together right now. So
I don't really think the defense was particularly great. I just thought they
made
went up
plays.
against a terrible offensive line.
beat up offensive line, but still they took
They
advantage of that.
definitely played good. I don't think they're great. You know, Trey Hendrickson going up against a backup left tackle with no help is going to win the majority of the time. I mean, he had 10 total pressures. That's not really... Trey Hendrickson's a great player, but that's not really sustainable.
No.
10 total pressures in a game isn't really sustainable. The Bengals, this doesn't like change any thoughts on them. I don't think their defense is elite. Like elite defenses are able to carry you. This isn't an elite defense. Yes, the defense carried them in this game, but they were going up against a pretty mediocre Rams team. The Bengals still have shit to figure out, especially Joe Burrow's health, but they did enough to win the game. I thought Joe Burrow in the third quarter looked incredible. I thought Jamar Chase looked incredible. And the way Zach Taylor was scheming up Jamar Chase, I mean, he had him lining up all over the field. In the slot, in the backfield. So they actually, you kind of thought it would be the opposite based on the first 2 weeks of the season. You would have thought that Puka Nacua would have been schemed up and got, force-fed targets, and Jamar Chase would have struggled to get targets based on the first 2 weeks. But it was the complete opposite. It felt like the Rams weren't really scheming Puka open much, and on the other side, the Bengals were doing everything they can to put the ball in Jamar Chase's hands. So I thought it was an excellent game plan from Zach Taylor and company. I thought Joe Burrow was obviously super questionable, but you did enough to win the game. Like I said, in that third quarter, led the only touchdown drive in the game. Actually, no, Tutu Atwell scored one, but the only Bengals touchdown drive in the game. So all around, it's a good win. There's still hope, but that's really all there is to say. The Rams are who we thought they were. Offensive line sinks. Defense could be questionable at times. Matt Stafford is going to throw a bunch of interceptions. That's what Matthew Stafford does.
It sucks because a few of those, I think one of them definitely wasn't his fault. Bounced off Kyron Williams' hands.
Mm-hmm.
That one was really unfortunate because they were pushing down the field and unfortunately bounced off his hands right into the defender's hands. Forgot who picked it off, but
Aaron Donald looked like Aaron Donald, as per usual. I felt like overall that defense was solid last night. But again, they can't push the ball. The Bengals have no threat of pushing the ball downfield right now. That's the issue. Joe Burrow cannot throw a deep ball right now, and that's a problem. That is a problem. When you face better defenses with more talented players, you're fucked because they are going to overplay every short route, and they're going to be like, all right, Joe Burrow, you cannot throw the ball past 20 yards at the current moment accurately.
And even on this defense, the Rams only allowed how many first downs? Not that many.
It felt like
one touchdown to the Bengals and Joe Burrow and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon, a team that has plenty of talent. The problem is very clearly Joe Burrow being hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That's hurting them in so many more ways than even shows up in the stat sheet. And they're clearly suffering. They're only beating a bad team by 3 points. Even when your defense plays good and they're getting a ton of pressures on the Rams, it comes down to the last drive against a bad team. This Bengals team was supposed to be a Super Bowl contender, and everybody thought they were going to be,
Not me.
not Chris. Everybody but Chris thought they'd be a Super Bowl contender.
I know ball.
I didn't think you didn't know ball.
Trunk said
I
they're
don't.
more likely to win the Super Bowl than to miss the playoffs.
But your reason wasn't Joe Burrow was hurt.
But
Because I do believe if Joe Burrow was completely healthy, then this season is not going the way it's going.
I was about to say, first and foremost, if Joe Burrow is healthy, this team is a Super Bowl contender.
Right.
Like, I don't know. There's no questions
Yeah.
there. I don't think there's even the slightest bit of a question there. If Joe Burrow is healthy, they are a Super Bowl contender. Any other case, sure, he's injured, yes. No, they're not. In this case, I get that. But healthy Joe Burrow equals a championship contender, no matter what, for this Bengals team. And it looks like the defense is a unit that's going to continue to improve throughout the season, especially because a lot of the players are young in that secondary right now. So I think they're a Super Bowl contender if Joe Burrow gets healthy, but otherwise, no, obviously not. But that could be said for almost any other fucking team in the NFL with their quarterback. So that's the case.
Just no ball.
Yeah, I know a team that's like that.
Sorry, buddy. It's all right. You'll get over it.
No, I mean, this was a big win for them, though, because the season's not over. There's still hope. So hopefully Burrow, gets healthier as the season goes on. I think they have a pretty easy stretch in their schedule coming up. Let me double check that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do as well. I forgot who they're playing.
They
next
get the
week.
Titans next week, then the Cardinals, and the Seahawks. So all defenses that are questionable. So if they're gonna, get right over the course of the season, these next 3 weeks, definitely give them the chance to do so.
You have to win the next two. You have to win the next two. The Titans and the Cardinals. I mean, I think we've seen that the Cardinals are no easy W.
Cardinals are legit.
They're
legit.
Cardinals are the
Jonathan
real
Gannon
deal, man.
is very quickly becoming my favorite head coach in the league.
Which is crazy because we were all clowning him to start the season too.
I mean, when you come from, not to switch up topics
No,
like that so
We
quick.
could go
We might
into
as
that
well. We'll
game.
go
But-
right into that game. Yeah.
Before we switch up, I'm just gonna head up. Say
All right, bro.
It's been fun.
It's been,
It's been real. It's been fun. But it ain't been real fun.
amazing. Thank you for
we-
the analysis that you gave in that.
We might as well hop into this Arizona Dallas game if
Skipping around a
we're
little.
going to talk
Yeah,
about
of course.
it. No. It's fine because we just talked about the Cardinals a little
Yeah.
bit, and we spoke enough about the Bengals and their situation over there with the Rams. We'll get into the other Monday night
Yeah,
game.
it was funny because. What was that? No, it's there.
It's on.
I definitely hear you.
No,
Oh,
you're
there
good
it
now.
is.
Sick.
Perfect.
So when we were making our pick'ems last week, we all easily said the Cowboys.
Fuck!
And
Our pick'ems.
No.
Chris,
No,
I
Chris,
know.
he was going to
that's
give
what
him
I was
his
getting to.
credit. He
That's
was
what I
going to give him
getting
his credit.
Chris was like, "This is a trap game. I want to pick the Cardinals." But he didn't end up doing it.
You guys,
But
you guys
I
convinced
thought
me
about it.
not
I-
to,
yeah,
bro.
as soon as I saw that they were
Chris,
winning,
bro.
I was like, "Wow, Chris was
yeah,
right."
you have- one
your
piece of
beard,
hair
your beard
that's
got an
hanging.
extra long here.
Yep, there you go.
You got it,
Yup,
bro.
It's on the
No,
chin.
it's-
It's on the chin.
Oh, nice.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, we know what Chris been doing.
But yeah, once
What?
what? Sucking dick.
Continue.
So when I saw that the Cardinals were winning, all I could think about in my head was, "Wow, Chris knows ball."
Yeah, no, Chris definitely knows
So you know
ball
what's
for that one.
funny? So Diana at Hobra, shout out to Diana. She's in a survivor pool with her people at work, and I only see her on Wednesdays. So she asked me who to pick in the survivor pool on Wednesday. I told her, I'm like, it's the Cowboys. There's no other option. You take the Cowboys. And I didn't take the Cowboys. I took the Seahawks.
Nice.
And she picked the Cowboys, and she's out in her survivor pool. So
So sad.
Well, I mean, that was like a gimme, but you had to kind of see this coming. The Cardinals in the past couple weeks have been building towards getting this win, and they were what? The combined 7 points in the last two games that they've lost by. They put it together against the Cowboys. I know they were missing Trayvon Diggs, and I think that was pretty apparent when you watch the Cowboys defense that they could not defend the pass as well as they were before. I think the loss of Trayvon Diggs is a lot bigger than they thought. But Josh Dobbs, man, gotta give a lot of credit to him because he came in
Trade for him, Jets.
3 weeks before the season, and he comes in and he's playing real legit good football, the best football he's ever played in his career. Jonathan Gannon's, bro, with the limited amount of resources he has on defense, look at that personnel, and that man is getting pressure just consistently.
You know, a lot of credit also needs to go to their defensive coordinator. I forget his name, but he's been phenomenal. Let me double check because I want to give the man his proper credit.
Bro, Kaiser White been balling out.
Yes, I was gonna say
out.
that. Kaiser White's been hooping. He's been balling.
In terms of Josh Dobbs, the thing that's been most impressive to me, and we're going to talk about this more when we talk about the Packers and Jordan Love because it's kind of the same thing, but just forget about the stats and the numbers and all that, but just how he has command of the offense. And his pocket presence has been exceptional. I mean, this guy Josh Dobbs, he never looks flustered. You know, he has wheels. We've clearly seen that in the first 3 weeks of the season.
55 rushing yards.
Yeah, he could get out of the pocket and do some work with his legs. But I mean, he has complete command of this offense. They never look flustered. Obviously, they're gonna have series where they go 3 and out and it doesn't look good. But overall, I mean, they've been on both sides of the ball. They've just been super impressive. James Conner looks like one of the best 15 running backs in football.
Yes.
He's been incredible, impossible to tackle. Hollywood Brown looks like Hollywood Brown. So they've been super impressive.
Even Rondell Moore, Michael Wilson, they have these pieces that are not supposed to be that good, that are good because of how Josh Dobbs is playing. And you talk about his pocket presence and how he looks comfortable. Josh Dobbs looks like he's having fun playing football.
Yeah.
He looks like he enjoys being out there.
Bro, did you see the TikTok?
TikTok was
The TikTok was
What was that? I
comedy.
didn't see it.
Micah Parsons was on his podcast and he was like, before the game, and he's like, I'm going to be throwing darts at Josh Dobbs all game. And Josh Dobbs was outside and someone was throwing darts at him and he was like,
After the game, he fucking
He's
posted a
mad
TikTok.
fun. Isn't he like he's like an astronaut?
I don't know.
He might be.
I think he does stuff with NASA. I think
he
Josh
has
Dobbs is like
he has a degree in like
he's like super smart.
astroscience. Yeah, something crazy. He's an intelligent.
I know
ass
he
dude,
does stuff
yes.
with NASA in the offseason, maybe. I think.
He's a super smart guy, and you could tell. I mean, picking up an NFL playbook in just 2 to 3 weeks, and then becoming a very competent starting quarterback in the NFL, like that shows something.
Yeah. No,
That
he
shows
walked
something.
into the right situation.
Josh Dobbs is a rocket scientist.
Yes,
Yep.
there it
He
is.
Graduated from Tennessee with a degree in aerospace engineering.
He was a really good college quarterback
crazy.
too, might I add. But it's also another thing that this Cardinals offensive line felt like it dominated the line of scrimmage for a lot of this game too, which needs to be said against a Cowboys defensive line that everyone's been lauding as the best defensive line in football, as the best pass rushing team in football. And it just felt like they controlled the line of scrimmage the entirety of the game, in the run game, in the pass game. Dobbs sat there clean. James Conner, they were opening up running lanes that Trunks could have ran through at certain points.
And I will say the Cowboys D line have the first 2 weeks had the luxury of playing the Giants and the Jets O lines, which are it looks like the worst 2 O lines in the league.
Bro, the Cardinals have something building here.
Yeah.
The Cardinals have something building here. Now, I don't know if I'd want to bring back Kyler Murray, in my
This is
personal
what I've
opinion.
been saying.
I don't know if I want to bring him back. If I'm the Cardinals, I'd consider just sitting him. If this team were to end up with Caleb Williams, watch the fuck out.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. How many wins realistically can you see the Arizona Cardinals getting by the end of the season? Because that really depends
They'd be
whether or
3-0
not.
if they had Kyler Murray. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. They just beat the Cowboys. If they could beat the Cowboys, they can
They
probably
won
beat a bunch of other teams.
So Ray, are you keeping him? Are you trading him? Does it depend how many games you lose and what?
all depend.
What's your record when he's ready?
They've clearly made it obvious to us as fans, to themselves, to the whole NFL that they're going to go out there and they're going to compete and they're going to try and win games. So if Kyler Murray's ready to come back to football, I think he will come back to football and he will play for them. And, you know, if they're bad enough to still end up with the number 1 pick, because that's still not out of the range of possibilities, then at that point, that's when you consider what you do going forward. But as of right now, I would like to assume that within the organization, they still believe Kyler's the guy that they're going to build around going forward. I mean, we got to remember, they did just pay him a bag.
Yep.
Kyler got a bag.
Yes,
So-
they did. 40 million, upwards of 40 million a season.
But
It's not
I
like
do
there's
feel like there's teams out there that would go for that.
There is, but the only way they move on from Kyler is if they get the number 1 pick. And that's not saying anything bad about Kyler. I love Kyler Murray. He's easily a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, one of the most underrated players in the NFL, in my opinion. But the only reason you move on from him is if you get Caleb Williams, just because Caleb Williams is that generational. And even then, you have to consider and weigh your options.
Nah, I disagree with that. If you
No, I
have
know
the chance at
that's
Caleb, it's
that's
done.
your opinion, but the Cardinals within the organization, again, they just paid this man the bag. So even if they get the number 1 pick, it's not going to be right away. All right, we're trading Kyler. They're going to, really analyze and really think about it and then move forward. I agree. If I was the GM, I would move on from Kyler and draft Caleb Williams if I get number 1. But within the organization, what they've shown us through 3 weeks, it's hard to think that they don't believe Kyler Murray's the guy that they can win a Super Bowl with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going out there. They're trying to win. It's clear, like we just said, if Kyler Murray plays these 3 games, they're 3-0. So
I do feel like a lot of the time, I mean, this is just in the NFL in general, when there's new regimes that come in, they want their own quarterback to implement. So I think that might have a lot to do with, their decision going forward. Even if they want to win games, is it really smart to throw Kyler Murray out there for 4 games and risk, his trade value going down and him, coming off an ACL getting hurt again? Is that really worth it? Maybe if the Cardinals are that prideful in winning games, maybe they will. But I feel like Josh Dobbs is a perfect answer for what they're doing at this very moment.
It also just really does need to be said that there's something to not fully embracing a tank for a team. It's about setting culture. And this is what the Cardinals are doing right now. And that's why I actually, for once, feel like they're headed in the right direction, because the best way to lose is to stay competitive. If you're getting the brakes beat off you on a weekly basis, a la the Bears, that does nothing in terms of building culture. So the Cardinals have stayed competitive. They just beat a team that we looked at as the best team in the NFL. Like, that is the craziest part about this. So it's getting these types of wins. It's building this culture for you guys to believe that you can win, and then next season you come in, you improve, and now you have a legitimate shot at being an above 500 team. So I have all the respect in the world for Jonathan Gannon and for the way that they've built this culture in Arizona, and it's just, there's a future here. There is a future here for an organization that people were shitting on in the offseason. So, and especially with...
It's like the Utah Jazz of last year.
Yeah, pretty much.
Build that culture up,
It's huge. And then obviously the whole Caleb Williams thing. Caleb originally, his dad was talking about not even going into the draft and it was pretty much presumed that if the Cardinals got the first pick, they didn't want to go to the fucking Arizona Cardinals. I'm just saying, rethink your stance, because Caleb could change life here. So, all right. On the Dallas side of things, what the fuck happened?
It's tough.
It was inevitable, bro. I'm telling
Yeah.
you guys. It was just a trap game. It was just a trap. The big thing that stands out for the Cowboys is the red zone offense. I think they went, 1 for 5 in the red zone in terms of scoring touchdowns. And Brandon Cooks, who you brought in to, be able to take the load off Dak, take the load off CeeDee Lamb, he's looked like a shell of himself. And I've said through the first 2 weeks, we haven't really been able to see it on full display because they've been smoking teams, but I think this offense is going to miss Dalton Schultz. And to me, it seems like they're missing Dalton Schultz. They're missing Zeke in those short yardage situations. I'm not concerned. It's week 3. They still have a top 5 roster on paper in all of football. They still arguably have one of the best defenses in the NFL. The Trayvon Diggs injury is a problem, and we didn't really get to cover that on last Tuesday when we did our power ranking. So a lot of people, when we posted that, were like, whoa, Trayvon Diggs is hurt. How do you guys have the Cowboys 1? But that was prior. I mean, the Cowboys moved down a couple spots in the power rankings because of the injury, because of the loss. But, I mean, they're still a top 7 at worst team in the NFL.
Right.
Yeah.
Top 7 at worst.
At bare minimum.
Yeah.
At
so
bare minimum.
I'm not overly concerned, but the big thing is figure out how to score in the red zone,
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm not putting too much into this game. Like, I'm not too worried. Like, I just think it was an off day,
I mean, you also
Every team's going to have an off day like that. I think this was theirs.
You need to
honestly.
factor in that these guys, they had an injured offensive line for this game. A very beat
3
up. No
starters were
Tyron
out.
Smith, no Zach Martin, no Tyler Biadasz. Those are arguably your 3 best offensive linemen. I could tell you right now, Tyron Smith and Zach Martin are your 2 best, and they're Hall of Famers, first ballot. So missing those 2 is a massive deal. So that also needs to be said for Dallas. But regardless, this is a game that you need to win.
So I was going to say, yeah, of course, obviously missing their offensive lineman, that's going to be a detriment to your offense. But their defense looked bad. Yeah. They let the Cardinals run all over them. The Cardinals' run blocking was amazing. James Conner looked really, really good. Josh Dobbs got out of the pocket and did what he wanted to do to them. They could not stop the Cardinals. They gave up 3 big carries. They gave up a 26-yarder, a 44-yarder, and a 45-yarder in just the first half. You're not going to win games giving up the length of the field in rushing yards in a half.
Yeah.
So, going forward, I mean, you got the Patriots coming up next week. You got Ramondre Stevenson and your old friend Zeke coming back into town with probably something to prove. Zeke's been looking better the past couple weeks. He's been looking like Zeke of him old self. He had 85 yards this past week.
He had a solid week.
I'm just saying for the Cowboys, I think that the defense, the pass rush is always going to be there, right? Good, but they need to stop the run. They need to stop the run. Needs to be the first priority every week.
Problem for them for seasons now.
Yeah.
Like this has been their Achilles heel on defense. They just can't stop the run. Like when it matters the most, they can't stop the run. When it comes to the playoffs, why do you think they always lose to the 49ers? They cannot stop the run.
All the Niners do is run the ball.
They cannot stop the run.
It's crazy because James Conner was my sit of the week.
Yeah, he was.
It's crazy.
Did he even have a massive fantasy day? Oh, yeah. 98
like
and a
20
touchdown
points.
at bare minimum. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and two
Like
receptions
20,
for
yeah.
18 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trunks, you done goofed.
It's okay.
You done goofed.
I mean,
But
I didn't have him in any leagues to get him.
At this
you
point-
know who had him?
never sit James Conner again. Just don't.
That's fine.
He's too damn good.
I probably
Well,
won't.
they just don't have anybody else to
He's
run the ball
also
with.
he's really fucking good this year.
Yeah.
Like James Conner has been breaking
He's
almost
also
every
great.
tackle. Like granted, yes, they're opening holes for him, but it just feels like he's on another level this year. I don't know what it is. I don't know what changed. He looks the best he's ever looked, and he's 28 years old.
He's also in a perfect situation. I mean, they have nobody else to run the ball with. The best second option is Keontae Ingram, and that man is not good. So they're going to run the ball with James Conner every single opportunity they can, especially when he's breaking off 20-yard runs every other play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could trust him on the goal line. You could trust him in the length of the field. He's able to break tackles. He could catch the ball. He's a do-it-all guy.
Yeah, it was tough. It was definitely a tough week for the Cowboys. But you know what? Moving on.
For a lot
from
of
that.
these teams who had bad losses in week 3, my mindset set with almost all of them is I don't really care. A loss happens. How will you respond?
Yes.
How will you respond? Cowboys, it's not a must win, but it's a must win next week against New England.
Right.
It's a must win.
come down to 2-2. Yeah, I could see it.
In that division with the Eagles, who are 3-0 right now, it's a must win.
Yeah, it needs to also be spoken about that everything seems to have to be perfect for Dak Prescott to win games. Like it just feels like it has to be perfect. So Dak is solid. We all know this, but if you're a great quarterback, you could find ways to pull out wins, even if things aren't perfect. So
Being back at home, they should be good. The Patriots' offense looks god-awful. They should be just fine next week.
Yeah.
yeah.
Before we move on to the next game, I'm going to read some chats. Tom says, I don't know if you guys talked about it or even knew about this, but Taylor Swift was at the Chiefs game.
Thanks for the information.
We'll get there.
Nick Perez of the Trophy Room podcast says the Niners are still the best team in football.
Yeah.
Antonio Steins asks, do you think Puka falls off when Kupp comes back?
No, I think he inherits the Robert Woods role, and I think he's even better. Not than the first 2 games, but because that's almost
little hard.
impossible. That's a little impossible, but I still think we could be talking about 8-9 targets every week for Puka when Kupp comes back. He's in the Robert Woods role at that point.
Yep. And
So-
then Osweezy says, you guys are looking extra handsome today.
Thank you, Susie. You always look handsome.
And here comes the Zest Fest.
Hell
Guess
yeah.
when we
Per
were talking
usual.
about sucking dick before.
Yep, that was
And let's not forget the fact that the Patriots in their last 15 games are 15-0 against the Jets.
All right. We didn't need to go there, homie.
I feel like we all knew that.
Yeah.
I feel like we all knew that.
We made sure to say it last week.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did. We did. I picked
We
the
were
Pats.
We had. We'll talk about it, I guess, when it comes up.
Yeah, we will. We will.
Let's talk about the Vikings.
Yes, let's
Okay.
let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings
The Kings.
falling all the way to 0-3.
Yeah.
And all 3 of their games have been 1-score games, and I feel like I'm just repeating myself now.
The same thing that happened last season.
Same thing every week. It's just the luck has completely flipped. It's like you went 11-0 in 1-score games last year, and now you're 0-3 in 1-score games this year. So it just needs to be said. rough start to the season for the Minnesota Vikings. Their defense isn't exactly good. Kirk Cousins is trying his damnedest to get this team to win.
It's tough. It's not all his fault like that, but like I think you trade him. I really do. I think the Jets should call him up and try to trade for Kirk Cousins. I feel like that's the best option for both teams.
I just don't even know if the money works because you're paying Aaron Rodgers $35-40 million a year. And you're paying Zach Wilson $10-11 million a year. So you already got $45 million locked up in quarterbacks, and then you can't add another 35. How much does Kirk make? 35-40. You can't have $80 million in quarterbacks.
Kirk makes 40 something.
And then, yeah, you just can't. It doesn't work. I don't know what they would have to do in terms of restructuring. I would love it. But it just doesn't seem realistic. I think they finished the season with Kirk Cousins probably.
They throw so many times. They currently lead the NFL in neutral passing situations. In neutral game situations, they pass the most in the NFL, and I'm pretty sure it's well above 70%, which is ridiculous, by the way. I don't understand it. And Madison had a solid game in this one too, 20 for 93. Felt like they were running the ball pretty well in this one, but Kirk Cousins threw the ball 50 times once again in this game. And it just feels like it's happening week after week. And I've never seen a quarterback take as many hits as Kirk does, just get up and just keep fucking going. So I genuinely love Kirk Cousins. I think
You love him?
I love Kirk Cousins. Yeah, no, he's one of my favorite quarterbacks in the entire NFL. And I hope he ends up with the Jets. I do. I don't know how it's gonna happen. I don't know how it would happen, but it needs to happen.
But it just becomes a problem.
How? He's a free agent after the season.
I don't know.
You let him walk. You pay a third right now to not let
a third. That's all it would take to get Kirk Cousins right now.
You also trade Zach Wilson.
Please get him off my team. Please. I never actually.
He would have to be in the deal.
I never want to see him again.
I don't know what you do if you're the Vikings. No, I do. You tear this shit the fuck down because it's done. It's over with. You've ran it. You've ran your course now. It's done and over with. This defense is not good. The offense is scoring points, but to what extent? Like, you're not winning games. You don't have a balanced offense. Just get some guys off the team now. Trade some guys. I don't know who. Daniil Hunter, namely. But
is there a world where the Minnesota Vikings trade Justin Jefferson?
I've been seeing that. I could see it. But
why?
Would you?
Because
For
you
what?
have to. Because you have to pay him, because your team is clearly not good enough, and you're lacking in so many key positions. You could probably get a good haul for the best receiver, arguably of all time. Probably get a decent haul in picks back and really start this rebuild.
best receiver of all time is crazy.
I don't believe that, but he's
Potentially.
on that trajectory.
Potentially.
He's on that trajectory.
I don't think it's so crazy
Yeah.
to say that he's on the trajectory to do something like that.
He's in an incredibly heavy passing offense. Let's relax.
And
not
he's
the best
taking
receiver
full
of all
advantage
time.
of it.
He's not the best receiver of all time.
I'm
Let's
not
relax.
saying he's the best receiver of all time.
And
I'm just saying
Numbers wise, sure, I guess, but no, he's not better than a Jerry Rice. He's not better than
no
a
one's
Randy
saying
Moss.
He's
that.
played for what? This is his fourth season?
Yeah.
Okay.
4.
he's the best
Obviously, he's
receiver
not
we've
better than
seen
Jerry
through-
Rice right
Yeah,
now. Jerry Rice
he's-
played for 20 years, dog.
I'm just saying.
He's the best receiver we've seen through their first 4 seasons, and it's really not
It's
particularly
not close. It's not close.
Odo Beckham Jr. has a say.
That
Okay.
really wasn't the question, though. The question was, will the Vikings consider trading Justin Jefferson? That's the question. My sense on it is, one, does Justin Jefferson want to be there if you're about to bring in a new quarterback? I don't know if they're going to re-sign Kirk this offseason because he's going to get a bag from some other team if it's not the Vikings. Does Justin Jefferson, when he has a chance to get out, when he has a chance to not sign the contract, does he ask out and not want to be there for a rebuild? And on the Viking side of things, like I said, you could get a decent haul back in picks. Kirk Cousins' money is off the books after the season. You could start trading all the other older pieces like a Daniil Hunter and get as many picks as you can and really start the rebuild.
My stance on it is, do they consider it? Absolutely. Does it happen? I don't think so. I think it, A, costs too much, and B, for your future quarterback, especially if you're getting rid of Kirk, to have Justin Jefferson and to have Jordan Addison, especially when you have a quarterback on a rookie deal, it's probably the best thing for you to pay a great wide receiver because it helps that guy come along. So I'm perfectly fine if they have to pay him, then you do pay him, and then you bring in a rookie quarterback on a rookie scale deal, and you have Jordan Addison and you have Justin Jefferson to throw to, and even TJ Hawkinson if he sticks around as well. So I'm not against that. I understand why you'd want to trade him. It accelerates a rebuild, but Justin Jefferson is the type of guy that you're trying to get for a young stud quarterback. So I think keeping him around makes more sense for them.
Right. I don't think they let both Kirk and Justin Jefferson go. I think you choose to pay Justin Jefferson, and you let Kirk walk and you draft a quarterback. I think that's the best scenario out of what happens, because if you end up like Matt's saying, if you end up trading Justin Jefferson, you also let Kirk Cousins walk. You're left with Jordan Addison as your receiver one with the rookie quarterback, and you could have just had Justin Jefferson if you just paid him.
Exactly.
My only thing is he might ask out, and that's where things start.
That's a different story.
Right, that's when things start to get tricky. And also, to the Jordan Addison point, I think having a young receiver like that, who you spent a good amount of draft capital to bring in, it makes it... Obviously, it's never going to be easy to part ways with Justin Jefferson. Like we said, the best receiver in NFL history through their first 4 years. But having a guy like Jordan Addison, who you just drafted, makes it a little bit easier. Does that make sense?
It 100% makes it easier.
I agree with
and
you guys.
I had that in mind, and I think Addison might fit the timeline a little bit better with a rookie quarterback. But then you'd have to pay them both at the same time.
See, my thing is, I get it, and I understand, but think about how much easier he does make life for that rookie quarterback. Like as having Jordan Addison as your second wide receiver too, like we've already seen, he's explosive as hell. Am I against the fact that he could be a number one in this league? No, by no means. Like, I absolutely believe Jordan Addison could be a one. But having both of them and then having a rookie quarterback come in and being comfortable enough to say, oh, I have Justin Jefferson over there. Oh, I have Jordan Addison over there. And now I have TJ Hawkinson as my safety blanket if I really need it. Makes life a hell of a lot easier. It accelerates how good that quarterback can be and how quick he can be good.
My thing is just, that's not what this team needs. Yes, it
I get
helps them to have a quarterback on a rookie deal in comparison to Kirk Cousins making 30, 40 million, whatever it is. But you're going to have to spend a first-round pick to get a quarterback, right? To get the quarterback of your future, you're going to most likely have to draft him, not even just in the first round, probably in the top 10 if you're getting that guy at quarterback. But the problem with the Vikings isn't the quarterback play, and it's not the offense. So the reason why, just playing devil's advocate, again, I wouldn't trade Justin Jefferson, but the reason why you do is to get an extra first-round pick, an extra second-round pick here, an extra third-round pick 2 years from now. So then you could put more resources, and you have more money because you're not paying Justin Jefferson. So you could put all your resources into building this defense up, and then you have, because you could put money into the defense because you have a quarterback on a rookie deal. You could put money into the defense in free agency because you're not paying Justin Jefferson, and you still have a really capable number one in Jordan Addison. You still have one of the better tight ends in the league in TJ Hawkinson, who's another guy who you want to talk about making life easier for the rookie quarterback. That's what TJ Hawkinson is going to do. It's an interesting situation. I agree with you guys, so I'm not trading Jettas until he says I'm not going to play for your franchise.
It all depends on what you could get back. I think that makes a massive difference too. If some team is desperate enough and calls you and says, all right, here's 2 first-round picks for Justin Jefferson, I think you'd be crazy to say no. That's my personal opinion. So that is different.
There's going to be teams out there, though.
I wouldn't even rule out the fact that the Giants would be in on
the
that.
Giants, the Patriots. I know the Patriots are against bringing in receivers, but I think it's clearly evident that they need a receiver, and they could be a damn good team if they have a receiver.
Fulfilling the Randy Moss prophecy.
Right.
Yeah.
What if the Chiefs call up?
Oh, my God. And give up everything?
Right, that's everything. The thing. Like, when I say, there's a team that's willing to give up a haul for Justin Jefferson, there's a team that will give up a haul for Justin Jefferson. 2 first-round picks is definitely in the ranges of that haul.
Right.
It might not be exactly 2 first-round picks, but it might be like a first and 2 seconds, something like equivalent of 2 first-round picks with the value. Like, you're going to get, if Justin Jefferson's available on the trade market, you're going to get a haul back for him.
The Jets.
There are a lot of teams that would be intriguing spots to go throw everything they can at Justin Jefferson and this team. So, yeah, I agree. No,
It's
I
interesting.
understand.
It's so interesting because, I mean, we were even saying it last year, like, especially you were definitely pushing this narrative about, them winning 13 games, but they were never a legit team, and it was time to rebuild and restart. So it's just very interesting because the whole world knows that this team is going to go in the direction of a rebuild, whether it's, this year since they're 0-3 right now, or next year or the year after, whenever they decide to fully go into the rebuild.
It's
but
going to happen.
It's inevitable that this team's going to go into a rebuild. So, I think as fans, as people who played Madden franchise growing up, it's always very interesting to see how teams start their rebuild and go into attacking that. So
Do you tear it all the way down?
Right.
Do you tank? And yeah,
like a team like the Cardinals, who's not a good football team, but just watching them, all right, the Cardinals are in a rebuild now, but now they're out here winning games. Like, we as football fans are inclined to, be interested in that and watch how they're going to rebuild this thing and
we
stuff
thought
like
they
that.
were tanking,
Right.
and then here they are winning
Literally,
games.
last episode, I said, "What if Kyler comes back?" You guys were like, "Nah, they're not going to win games. Why would they do that?"
They won one game.
It was against the Cowboys, though.
Okay, but we all just sat here and said that, we're not going to take this game too serious. We all just said that.
You throw it out.
Cowboys side.
You throw it out.
I don't know. Yeah, my point is just that's why the Vikings should blow it up is the title of the podcast. Just we as guys who, even 2K2, like we were just talking about the Jazz, how interesting the Jazz were this past season to just keep up with. It's always interesting watching these teams, really change direction and change the course of their franchise.
And I think in the NFL, more recently than ever, teams are more comfortable doing that mid-season. They're not going to wait till the offseason like years past, because the NFL movement during the season is very few and far between. You don't see stars get moved around mid-season too often. But in a case like the Vikings, let's say you're 1-7 and you get to the deadline, you think about moving Kirk Cousins. Hopefully, I mean, if you're a team like the Jets, you do that, something like that a lot sooner, because by then it's probably too late. So who knows if the Vikings will go and make drastic changes this early in the season. I mean, they sit at 0-4. What chances do you even have of making the playoffs?
Right.
So
I mean, you look at a team like the Texans, who they were. I'd like to say they were legit contenders when they had Deshaun, when they had J.J. Watt, when they had Clowney there, when they had who's the other dude off the edge?
Whitney Merciless.
Whitney Merciless, when they had D-Hop, all these guys, and then they just decided, it was time to rebuild.
Yes.
They move on from all these guys, and it was bleak there for a couple years. But now you look at them, they got their guy, and,
my God.
the Texans are probably going to be one of the more fun young teams to watch throughout the course of this NFL season. So
We will talk about the Texans in a second. I do want to get to the Chargers side of things in this case. Justin Herbert, once again, just damn. What a game. What a game from Justin Herbert. 405 yards. First time he's thrown for 400 in his NFL career. 3 touchdowns, no picks. Sitting clean in that pocket almost the entirety of the game. He had a 93.2 QBR in this game. That's on a scale of 1 to 100. He was unreal.
he would be the MVP right now if they started their
If
season
they won
3-0.
games,
Yeah.
yes.
And I'm a Tua guy. But no, if they were 3-0, he'd be the MVP. Bro, he's balling, bro.
I know
It'd
he
be
is.
close.
He's
I think as a Tua guy, I think it would unquestionably be, bro, he's the only quarterback in the NFL to not turn the ball over. He's putting up an insane amount of yards. He's making insane plays.
the winning thing matters a lot.
Yeah,
though.
no, it definitely does. That's why I'm saying, like, my MVP is clearly Tua right now.
It's
I
so
don't even think I have Herbert in my top 5.
He's
but
not my top.
It's unfortunate because he
He's balling.
has been every bit of what I said he would be coming into the season. Like he was my MVP pick, and if they are 3-0, yes, he's right there. It's him or Tua in my opinion, and it's happening, and the prophecy is being fulfilled. But it's just they can't win, and then they win this game, thankfully, and they almost fucking lost it because Brandon Staley can't coach for shit. Why are we going for it on 4th and 1 in your own territory? What are you doing? Up 4. Obviously, this team needs a touchdown. I understand you don't trust your defense, but still, it boggles my mind how he still has a job. It doesn't make any sense to me, and they're gonna ruin the start of Justin Herbert's prime. at this point if Brandon Staley stays as their fucking
I mean,
coach.
we all see Justin Herbert being the long-term quarterback there. I think he has time to
I said
figure
the
it
start
out.
of his prime.
Yeah, I just, obviously the Chargers defense is garbage.
Prayers up to
It's
Mike
garbage
Williams.
enough, though, where I would look at that decision, and I don't think it's the worst thing either. Punting the ball back to the Vikings where, they're torching your secondary a lot of the game. It's tough to justify giving them the ball back in that situation. He probably thought in his head, hey, I'm going to give Kirk Cousins the ball right now, and Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins are going to dot me up into the end zone. I don't hate the decision at all, actually.
Then he threw that pick, right? Kirk Cousins.
He threw
That
the
was
pick
after
in the
that,
end
right?
zone.
What was that
So,
about? Why did
I
they
saw-
not spike the ball?
He
They had 40 seconds. They would have had 3 more downs to go for it. They wasted the entire clock
Entire clock.
just to throw an interception.
I don't know if you guys saw after the game, Kirk Cousins made the excuse. He said that happened because he couldn't hear the play call because the crowd was too loud.
Bro, it doesn't
So
matter.
he didn't
Just
know.
spike
So
it.
he
But
just
right,
called, So
exactly.
he said he just called the play.
It's even more of a reason to
Yeah,
spike it.
spike it
I
and
know,
get
I know.
settled down.
I'm just
Hey,
saying that's what Kirk Cousins
How
said.
are you an NFL quarterback and you start a play not knowing what's
He said he
happening?
called the play
I don't
because he
know,
couldn't
yeah.
He
hear.
called the play.
That
Well,
was,
I mean, you can make a play call as a quarterback. I'm not against
No,
that.
no, I
especially
know.
when
But
you're
I'm,
a
saying,
bad
I'm
quarterback.
saying he was using it as
Right.
the excuse for throwing the interception.
But that's
what
crazy
happened.
because that's even more of a reason
you
to just
just-
spike
no,
the
I know.
ball.
You just
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
throw a
Spike
pick
the
there.
ball. You have 40 seconds. Figure this out now. Now figure it out. Stand there. Get the play call. If you have to run to the sideline, run to the fucking sideline. But now you have 40 seconds on the play clock to go and figure things out. Like, I don't know. The clock management at the end of the game was horrible.
Questionable.
The decision by Brandon Staley was horrible.
Primetime Kirk showed up right there in that moment.
Yeah, unfortunately. But on staying on the Chargers side, Keenan Allen is needs his flowers.
He's just open every play.
Keenan Allen
He's just open.
needs his damn flowers. He had 20 targets in this one, and he caught 18 of them, which is just ridiculous efficiency by Keenan
For
Allen. as well.
215.
Mike Williams, as I said before, prayers up to the man. Obviously, tore his ACL. I hope for a speedy recovery. It just seems like every time Mike Williams is putting together great seasons and putting things finally all together and staying away from injuries, it hits him. It hits him immediately. And it's so unfortunate because it's one of the most talented and gifted receivers in the entire league, and it just continues to get taken away from him. So it sucks.
The silver
Prayers up to
lining
man.
for the Chargers is you just drafted a
Pretty much his
receiver in the
clone.
first round.
Pretty much his clone.
So, he finally gets his opportunity because he wasn't getting that many snaps the first couple of weeks, obviously because he has Mike Williams and Keenan Allen ahead of him. So now he finally gets his opportunity behind Keenan Allen to get those targets. And I feel like Quentin Johnston's going to be just fine. I think the Chargers offense is going to be just fine without Mike Williams.
I don't know. Quentin Johnston is
It's been 3 weeks.
very shaky.
It's been
as
3
a start
weeks.
to his NFL career. Yeah, completely. I agree. But it's very shaky as a start to his NFL career. But regardless, I mean, he still has plenty of weapons. I mean, look, Josh Palmer, we saw last year, can step into a somewhat decent role and hold his own.
Even him last week, I'm like, man, Josh Palmer's not good.
No, he's not.
He's not
He's
good.
another. He's a Jag. He's just another guy.
Yeah.
But he's decent enough to hold it down as an underneath receiver. He's not a deep threat by any means. Keenan's gonna be hyper targeted, is what I'll say. Austin Eckler comes back once again. Austin Eckler will be heavily involved in the passing game.
they
and
need Austin Eckler back.
They really need Austin Eckler back because Jesus Christ, Josh Kelly has looked atrocious.
They had 30 total rushing yards in this game.
Yep, Josh and Justin Herbert had 11 of them.
It's bad.
Justin Herbert had 11
Oh,
of them.
man.
So their running backs combined for 19 yards in this game. 13 carries for 19 yards, namely Josh Kelly, 11 carries for 12. So, really
Just
good job on
yeah,
Josh
like
Kelly's
Justin
part.
Herbert's balling, and like for fantasy, he's been great. But
He's the number one QB currently.
it's tough to be a competitive team when you have to have your quarterback throwing 50 times just to have a chance.
Yep. Then
And I mean,
talk
even-
to the Vikings on that one.
Yeah, I mean, even in this game, there was like they could have easily lost this game. You know what I mean? Like, definitely a feel-good win, kind of the same thing as the Bengals, honestly. Like, good win. There's still hope for you. You didn't start 0-3, but it doesn't change my thoughts whatsoever, It's going to be a struggle bus for them, especially because, they're going to have to go play Kansas City twice.
that's who's next for them. Let's check this because I'm very curious.
For the Chargers?
Next up, you have they have the Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. They have the Raiders next. That has to be a win, and then it's the Cowboys.
What's the deal with? I mean, I know he sucks. That's why he was inactive. But J.C. Jackson ain't even play.
That's exactly why he was inactive.
He ain't even play.
He was a healthy scratch, from what I heard.
No, there
I
was
thought they said that on the
something like
broadcast.
going on, like outside of football.
Oh, okay.
I forgot
Yes.
what it was.
Okay, I thought they just benched him because he was so bad, which wouldn't be surprising.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what it was, so I don't want to speak on it and
Yeah.
spread any
All right,
false
yeah.
information.
Thanks
But I'm
for
pretty sure it
clearing
was
that up.
something outside of football.
I think there was an arrest or something like that, or whatever it was. But yeah, I heard about that. I just realized, I put 2 and 2 together, that was part of the case. But yeah, nah. This Chargers team needs to figure it the fuck out. Thankfully, they got a win in this one. Next week they have the Raiders. Got to get another win, and then it's a bye week. So heading into a bye week, hopefully you can figure some things out after that. Be 2 and 2, and then you're feeling better about yourself. So moving on from that. You know what? You mentioned C.J. Stroud before, so I'd like to talk a little bit about the best rookie quarterback that we've seen so far. Another surprise of the week. The Texans defeated the Jacksonville Jaguars 37-17.
I love it. I love it.
Before you said that the week 3 games, like you weren't putting too much stock into any of them. This was the one that I'm like a little kind of putting some stock into it, where I'm like, the Jaguars, what's happening here? They're not looking too good.
It's
You
back
know?
to back now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the issue. It's now back-to-back weeks where you don't look good. And I'm not sure what exactly the issue is here, to be entirely honest. I don't understand. Trevor Lawrence just didn't play all that well once again. I thought the rushing game would be better than it was. It felt like the game script also didn't allow for that to happen, as the Texans were kind of pulling away at multiple points in this game. I don't know, man. Just rough.
So
all in all.
They were like making I don't know if really call it a bit of a comeback, but that punt return kind of killed all momentum they had.
Yes.
Was that in the third quarter, I think?
I believe it was.
Killed all the momentum they had.
for sure.
Yeah, that thing was over. Who was it that ran it back? It was the fucking fullback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fullback ran the goddamn thing back, which was crazy. There's problems here. Real problems here for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, where are we starting? Because you started it with you want to talk about the best rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about the Jaguars. Where are we starting? Because I got stuff to say about both sides. Where are we going?
We'll stick with the Jags.
The Jags. So, where this game, in my opinion, was won was on late downs, 3rd and 4th downs. The Jaguars on 3rd and 4th down, negative 0.5 EPA per play. The Texans, on the other hand, and we're going to talk about the Texans on 3rd down a little bit later, but 0.65 EPA per play. So the difference in EPA per play on 3rd and 4th down was over 1. And like a 1 EPA is insane. So the Jaguars on 3rd down were terrible. And if you look at Trevor Lawrence's passing chart on Next Gen Stats, shout out to Next Gen Stats, he had 1 completion over 20 yards, which was the touchdown to Christian Kirk when the game was already essentially over. But it just seems like this offense isn't creating explosive plays. And when you have, these crazy explosive weapons like a Travis Etienne, a Christian Kirk, a Calvin Ridley, a Zay Jones,
Evan
Evan Ingram, you have all these explosive weapons. You would expect them to be one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL. And it just seems like through 3 weeks as a whole, the offense has taken a step back. And I don't know if that's a player issue. I don't know if that's a coaching issue. Calvin Ridley, I'm pretty sure, had 3 drops in this game. The drops overall for the Jaguars are a big problem, but
I feel like it's a coaching thing. I feel like it's a pacing thing. They looks like a lethargic offense. They look slow. Let your playmakers make plays. Go set them up to make plays. You have a bunch of them. You have a young quarterback. push the pace.
Take some shots.
Right.
Let
take some
Trev
shots.
send that ball.
Apply
down
some
the field, bro.
pressure. Like don't sit back and just let the defense come to you. Go attack the defense. Go attack. And that's just not what we've been seeing out of Jacksonville,
To be
who's
fair,
supposed to be an exciting team.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
Calvin really had a really great week 1. Since then, he hasn't really done much.
No, he's
You
been
know, he
very
hasn't done
quiet
anything.
since then.
I mean, he dropped it both week 2 and week 3. He dropped a touchdown, so
Yeah.
that kind of changes the fantasy outlook. But especially this week, like I said, 3 drops. He just didn't look like himself, and I'm not worried about that. I'm not overly concerned about the Jaguars because, like we said, they have so many playmakers on this offense. They have a coach in Doug Peterson who seems to always help his offenses, perform. So I'm not overly concerned. It's a divisional game. Like, shit like this happens. Like I said earlier, it's about how you respond. You had 2 pretty mediocre weeks in a row. I mean, you only scored, 9 points against the Chiefs last week. So 2 very mediocre weeks in terms of offense in a row. Go respond, go put up a 40-piece. Like, you have to respond. If the offense continues to struggle next week, then now we have some real concerns.
Yeah, this
And the defense isn't helping either. The
Not
defense
at
has been Swiss cheese.
not at all.
So many holes.
It was bad this week. Against the Chiefs, it was solid enough. It was holding up. But this week, against the rookie quarterback, for you to get pieced up the way you did, and now you know what? We'll jump into that side of things. C.J. Stroud had 280 yards and 2 touchdowns on just 30 pass attempts. He was unbelievable. Tank Dell, Nico Collins had a quiet game, but Tank Dell, this rookie to rookie connection, is working very early now. And it seems like everyone in this Houston Texans organization fully believes they have their guy now. They have their guy in C.J. Stroud. Brevin Jordan, I think, after the game, said that the best thing that ever happened to this Houston Texans organization is that they beat the Indianapolis Colts last year and ended up with a 2nd overall pick because they got their guy. They got C.J. Stroud. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong because C.J. looks every bit as comfortable and every bit as good as he did in college through his first 3 NFL games. And we're talking about a player that played at Ohio State with some of the best receivers currently in the NFL. He turns over to the Texans, and he's making it work with Nico Collins, with Tank Dell.
Tank Dell looks amazing.
Tank Dell looks phenomenal. So it needs to be said, he is unbelievable. He might be the best quarterback in this draft. I don't want to just base it off 3 games, but
We also haven't seen enough of Anthony Richardson. 'Cause He
Agreed.
looked good when he played.
Or Bryce Young. He still exists.
No, I know. I'm saying no, but CJ Stroud looks better than Bryce Young right now, and Bryce
No,
Young.
no.
Oh,
He
he
looked
missed
ba-
last game.
if I'm being
Yeah,
entirely
he missed last
honest,
game. I forgot
he
about
also
that.
looked better than the 1.5 games that we saw of Anthony Richardson.
No, he's
too.
been by far
Yeah.
the best
He's
quarterback
by
through
far the
3
best
weeks.
quarterback through 3 weeks.
And I love that
Rookie
they're letting
quarterback.
him. They're just letting him rip it.
Yeah.
Which is
So
beautiful.
like I said, I feel like the Texans won this game pretty much with their 3rd down and 4th down success. Like I said, 0.65 EPA per play on 3rd and 4th downs. CJ Stroud so far this year on 3rd down, he's 1st in touchdown to interception ratio with a 3.0, 1st in yards with 397, 1st in completions with 32, tied for 1st in passing touchdowns with 3, tied for 1st in big passing plays over 20 plus yards with 5, 2nd in completion percentage at 76.2, and 2nd in passer rating at 128.8. CJ Stroud not only has been the best rookie quarterback in the NFL through 3 weeks, CJ Stroud has been the best quarterback in the NFL on 3rd downs so far this season. And, that's going to help the team a lot. I mean, the Texans are definitely struggling to run the ball, but it seems like it doesn't matter because when they get put with these, 3rd and longs, 3rd and mids, CJ Stroud's going to go out there and make a play and find the receiver.
Yeah, C.J. Stroud has been unbelievable. And as a rookie already, when facing pressure, he's currently 9th in the league in completion percentage among all quarterbacks, obviously, according to PFF. So for him to be as pro-ready as he is right now, I'm thoroughly impressed. Thoroughly impressed. The Texans found one, and this is a team that's building something legitimately terrifying. So I'm very excited to see the future for this Texans team, especially with a healthy offensive line, which hasn't even happened yet. So shout out to the guys over there. Houston's on the come up once again. So, all right, moving on. we'll go to the other Monday Night Football game. We'll get this done and over with. The Eagles absolutely bullied the Buccaneers last night. Final score of 25-11, and it wasn't even that close.
Fun fact: this was a scoregami.
It was.
We had 2 scoregamis this week.
It was.
Amazing.
I'll
You
be
guys
honest. I
What
don't
was,
know
what was the other one?
I
It
don't
was
know.
like a unique
the
score.
Dolphins Broncos
Oh.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, 25-11 is a very odd score for football.
Well, it's never happened before.
That's the
That's
point.
the point.
Wait,
Unique,
that's what
unique
a-
meaning unique
score
Like
First
one of
ever.
a kind.
Yeah.
Scoregami means that it's the first time it ever happened. Like that score finishes a game.
Oh, shit.
Like it never happens, and we had 2 this week.
Well, 25-11 does sound weird.
Yeah.
11's weird. 25's weird too.
I don't know the last
Both
time we
weird.
got a scoregami. Honestly, I kind of want to check that out. But we had 2 of them this week. They're very rare.
Okay, so starting off, the Eagles, I'll let you figure that out. I'll start
yeah.
this off. On the Eagles side of things, DeAndre Swift is quickly turning into the best running back in all of football at this point. It's a fucking exaggeration. Relax. Behind the best offensive line in all of
said
football.
anything.
No, Chris looked at me like I
did
was
he?
insane.
Oh.
But
Yeah, that is a bit of a stretch.
I mean, is it?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's a stretch.
Is it?
It's a
He's
stretch.
turning into the best running back in football? Are you crazy?
Yeah,
No.
Christian
I'm not
McCaffrey is
crazy.
by far.
Well, obviously, he's like, okay.
Don't
he's
say
top-
obviously,
Sorry,
you're the
one-
sorry. He's quickly turning into a top 3 running back in all of football.
Even that's
I don't
not
care
true.
who we're gonna
It-
say right now
Bro,
because
it's been 2 weeks of him being good.
He's
that's
been
why I just said
good, but
let's-
saying he's
let's pump the
turning
brakes.
into the best
Let's
running
pump the
back in
brakes.
football is a crazy statement.
his last 2 weeks have been unbelievable.
They've been good. You could say he's been good without saying he's the best running back in football, Matt.
He's a top 3 runner of the football in the NFL at the current moment. I don't
We were
give a
saying how he
fuck.
sucked 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean he's also not, but at least that's like more reasonable than saying he's Christian McCaffrey's like an MVP candidate right now. That's how good he's fucking been.
Let me rephrase. DeAndre Swift is turning into a top 3 runner of the football in the entire league. And you start to wonder why this man wasn't as heavily utilized in Detroit as he's now being in Philadelphia.
Because he was hurt.
No, it wasn't always injury, bro. It wasn't always injury, bro. Even when he was healthy, he was not used. You could go back and check it. Even when he was healthy, we were questioning why are the Lions not using DeAndre Swift more? And then here we are. He's on the Philadelphia Eagles, and in back-to-back games, he's gone for 130 plus. So on 8 yards per carry, might I add, and it looks explosive. It looks incredibly explosive. And this is just drawing away from the fact that Jalen Hurts looks completely pedestrian. Completely pedestrian so far through 3 games. Jalen Hurts does not look good. I
In
just
terms
need
of
to throw
throwing the
that
ball,
out.
yeah, no, he doesn't look great.
Does not look good. And DeAndre Swift in this running game through these last 2 weeks have carried this football team. And the defense, obviously, as
Their
well.
offensive line is also amazing.
Their offensive line is phenomenal. It's the best in the entire league. But that you need a running back that's capable of exploiting that as well. And DeAndre Swift hits holes faster than just about anybody in the entire NFL.
Yeah, he
Oh,
does.
he hits those fucking holes.
Yeah, he does.
But outside of that, I mean,
they're far and away like not even close to the best run blocking team in the NFL.
of course they are.
according
They
to
have the best
PFF.
offensive line in the entire NFL, and it's not even really all that close.
Okay, there were 3 scoregamis last season. The last one was Week 16, Bengals Patriots, 22-18.
Thank
okay.
you, Trunks.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
you're welcome.
That fun fact.
It took me a while. I was trying really
Yeah.
hard.
AJ Brown had a big game. Finally had an explosive game. Dallas Goedert. It just feels like they're underutilizing Dallas Goedert so far through the first 3 weeks of this season. Devontae Smith was very quiet in this one. I needed him to get 12 yards to hit my parlay, which kind of broke my heart a little bit. But
Well, when their running game has been as effective as it's been, you don't really need to throw the ball all that much anymore. Last season, when your running back was Miles Sanders, who kind of just was held up by how great their offensive line was, you were forced to give it to guys like Goddard and Devontae Smith and AJ Brown all game. When now you have DeAndre Swift, who in your opinion is a top 3 runner of the football. So why would you even need to throw the ball when DeAndre Swift's playing as well as he's playing?
And he knew after last week, the whatever happened on the sidelines between him and Jalen Hurts, it was AJ Brown was going to get the majority of the targets.
oh
this
yeah,
week, you know.
yeah, for sure. They were
So-
going to make a concerted effort
Yeah.
to get him the football this week. That was for sure. On Also, on the defensive side of things for this team, because I'm not concerned about their offense. Jalen Hurts will most likely figure it out. They have the best offensive line in football. They could keep running it down people's throats if they want to at this point. So, on the defensive side of things, they really did get away with a massive steal in Jalen Carter. And the steal of the draft, I didn't say anything. They got away with a huge steal in this draft in Jalen Carter. And he's already turning into one of the 5 best defensive players in all of football. That's the scary part about this. Not only did you have the best defensive line in the league, now you just added a rookie who was already one of the 5 best defensive players in all of football at this moment.
Should have been a top 3 pick, probably.
So, first of all, he would have been. He would have easily been a top 3 pick in this draft. It would have been between him and Will Anderson.
I was about to say, you think he's being taken over Will Anderson?
Maybe, maybe not. They're both generational, it seems like. They're both going to be unbelievable. But I said it before the season. Jalen Carter walked into a perfect situation where he gets to learn from some of the best defensive players of our generation and easily just get all the pressure taken off of him by the fact that he has 5 other guys that can consistently rush the passer. So Jalen Carter is as good as advertised, and that defense, again, unbelievable. So I don't even know what else to say.
So, speaking of Jalen Carter and the 2023 draft, redrafting the 2023 NFL draft. Let's ride. Who wants the first pick?
Me.
Through 3 weeks.
Yeah, through 3 weeks. About to get clowned in the comment section. I already know it.
With the first pick, I'm taking C.J. Stroud.
It's a smart pick.
Thanks.
You go next. You go that way.
Me?
Mhm.
It's tough to make the second pick because it's in a vacuum. So I don't know if I'm a team who needs a quarterback or not. But I'm going to just go with best player available with the second pick in the 2023 through 3 weeks redraft. I'm taking Jalen Carter.
So the Texans have the second and third pick with...
But are you the Texans or are we just redrafting?
Just
Yeah,
redrafting.
it's
Oh,
just in
okay.
a
All
vacuum.
right, cool. With the third pick in the 2023 NFL redraft, I'm taking Will Anderson.
With the 4th pick in the 2023 NFL redraft, taking Anthony Richardson.
With the 5th pick in the 2023 NFL redraft, I'm taking Bryce Young.
With the 6th pick, I have to take Mr. Christian Gonzalez. He's been incredible so far.
With the 6th pick, this one's going to come as a bit of a surprise, but...
This is
now
the 7th
that-
pick.
Sorry. The 7th pick, this one's going to come as a bit of a surprise, but he's bursted onto the scene immediately. That's Ivan Pace Jr. He's been unbelievable so far for the Vikings.
With the 8th pick, it's going to be exactly the same as it was originally. I'm taking Bijan Robinson.
Damn, you took my pick.
Duh. Who else am I taking?
I don't know. Who'd you take, Chris? Gonzalez?
Yeah.
So one guy's still available.
Come on, Trunks. I believe in you.
You
I
can
don't,
do
I
this,
don't
buddy.
believe in myself, honestly.
Don't sound stupid.
Nah. I could take Tank Dell.
So just take him. So just say it.
No.
Okay.
Oh, my God, Trincali.
With the 8th pick in the 2023 redraft, I'm taking Brian Branch.
It's a great pick because that's who I was going to pick,
Thank you.
actually. Shout out to Brian Branch. He's definitely going under the radar because, Jalen Carter's been so good. Christian Gonzalez has been so good. But Brian Branch has been everything and more for the Detroit Lions defense.
Did it.
You did it.
Good job, buddy.
With the 10th pick, I'm going to be honest, bro. It's through week 3. I'm going to take Puka Nacua. He's been the best rookie receiver so far.
So, for me, with the 11th pick, I'm going to take...
You're doing more than 10?
Yeah, we'll do
We'll
12.
do 12
Let
because
them get.
everyone gets a
Yeah.
pick.
Bet.
I'm gonna take Joe Tippmann from the Jets. He's been really good for you guys.
Interesting. The 12th pick of the 2023 NFL redraft, I'm going to take Deontay Banks from the Giants.
Wow.
No Joey Porter Jr. love?
Joey Porter Jr. was someone that I thought about. I very much value offensive line play in general, so Joe Tippmann was just my pick easily. Outside of that,
Christian
Sam
Eisen.
Laporta. Sam Laporta didn't get drafted, who definitely deserves to be
Zay
drafted.
Flowers.
Zay Flowers is another guy that you could have considered drafting. There's a lot of good players.
Christian
in there,
Eisen.
So Christian Eisen.
Luke Van Ness has been all right.
Yeah, on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's been
Oh,
incredible.
the slot corner.
Yeah,
Yes.
been lit.
Okay. Yeah, he's been really good for them. But he's a converted safety.
Yeah.
So super impressive.
Brian
on his part.
Brazy's been okay, right?
Breezy's been solid. He's been decent.
Yeah. Do we have
yeah.
anything to say about the Buccaneers?
Not really. I didn't think Baker played terribly.
I was gonna say
I really didn't.
I
There were
still,
drops.
I'm still okay with how Baker's been playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't think they're all too bad. They versed the Eagles, a top 3 team in the league. So, I'm not too worried about them. I think they still have a chance to sneak into the playoffs.
Yeah, I
NFC
don't.
South all lost this week, so
Yeah, so
it's
it's
a
fine.
neutral loss.
Yeah, so Sleazy, I am wearing a Knicks hat. You know what it is? It's a 2023 Knicks playoffs hat too. I wanted to remember that second round.
Today? You wanted to remember today?
Well, I just wanted to pick a black hat. It was this or a White Sox hat. I didn't want to wear a White Sox hat.
All right, well, we'll move on to this Sunday night football game. We'll hop over to this.
Fuck the Sunday
do we
night
wanna talk
football
about?
game. Let's talk about the fucking Dolphins.
Yeah.
Wow.
The 70
The
piece.
second scorigami.
The 70 piece.
The second scorigami.
I mean,
Ever.
you would assume anytime a team puts up anytime a team puts up 70, I'd like to think it's probably going to be a scorigami. I'd even say anytime a team puts up 50, it'd probably be a scorigami, but they just
Have you guys been seeing the memes of McDaniels going into the crowd
Yeah.
and just
bro.
being like, "Yo,
This
who's on
man-
your guys' fantasy teams? Who do you need to score next?" Or "Yo, on God, call a play."
That was that guy that was dressed as him, right?
What?
No, that was him.
that
in the
was
stands.
him.
Wait, what?
He was in the stands.
in the
before the
stands,
game. Probably talking to like his family or something, or
Probably,
like
yeah.
friends. But
It was funny
They were
because he had
making
the play card thing in his hand. It looked like he was just asking
Yes.
fans what plays he wanted
Yeah.
to call.
the
Bro,
Miami
funny.
Dolphins, 70-20 win over the Denver Broncos. I think we all knew it was going to be bad, but no one could have predicted it could have been this bad.
No.
I mean, off the rip ski, you let Tyreek Hill get open in the middle of the field, score a touchdown, and after that, it was over. It was over.
This one?
Yeah.
Tua
Dude, You're an
Tagovailoa,
idiot.
almost
There's a
a
guy
perfect-
dressed as him, you freaking dingleberry. Duh.
oh,
I was
Yeah.
trolling.
Sorry, guys.
no. Tua Tagovailoa, 23 for 26, 300 yards, 4 tuds, no interceptions, almost a perfect passer rating, 155.8. I mean,
Don't forget about Mike White.
yeah, Mike White was
So,
awesome.
All right, you guys ready for this stat? So
This is going to be bad.
it's very bad. So Mike White threw 2 passes in this game, right? 2 passes.
I know
He
it's going to have to
finished
do with
with-
Zach Wilson.
He finished with 6.58 fantasy points in those 2 passes. That's more fantasy points this week than Desmond Ridder, Ryan Tannehill, Jameis Winston, Daniel Jones, Sam Howell, and Zach Wilson.
All right, to be fair to Jameis, he only played
I
like
know.
a half.
But he's still included. He still played a whole half football. He threw 2 passes.
A little less than a half, I think it was.
2
but-
passes. And he scored more fantasy points than all of those quarterbacks.
Yeah, this Broncos defense is pretty terrible.
Insane.
Pretty insanely bad. I mean, obviously, you got to give credit to the Dolphins for putting up 70 points. But I think most NFL teams don't give up 70 points, even to the Dolphins. So, I mean, this defense. What do you even say about it? It's just everything wrong, right? Like, what's the good part?
I don't know who has to be fired, but someone has to be fired.
Someone can't be there
Someone.
next week.
Someone can't have a job
So
anymore.
yeah, I mean the Broncos in terms of EPA per play allowed, they're worst at 0.346. In terms of dropback EPA allowed, they're worst in the NFL at 0.529. Obviously, a lot of these are going to be inflated because the Dolphins 70 piece them. They're bad, but they're not going to get 70 put on their heads ever again, probably. And then in terms of rush EPA allowed, they're the worst in the NFL at a 0.111.
Unless the Jets give them a 70 piece next week.
Denver gave up over 700 yards
Yeah.
Yeah.
and 350 on the ground.
Yep.
I mean, it's just something that we're probably never going to see again in our lifetimes, honestly.
Did everyone see Shannon Sharp's rant?
I mean,
I did not.
Oh my God.
70 points in a game it's just not normal. Tua's EPA per play in this game was a 0.94. Like, it's just not normal. And I just got to give some love.
Wait. I'm sorry. Right before you give the love, because I want there to be love, I gotta hate Sean Payton for a second for bashing last year's coaching staff and being as bad as they are right now. It's pretty terrible. You can't come into the season talking all that about last year's coaching staff. These guys weren't coached right. These guys weren't this. And you come into the season and you're quite literally the worst team in the league.
Yep.
No, they're not the worst.
That-
It's bad when you
Actually,
get
you're right,
70
you're right.
points dropped on your dome and you open the week as 3.5 point favorites against the Bears.
We'll talk about the Bears.
Bears might beat
How
them,
do you
dog.
do that?
We'll talk about the Bears in a second, but
That's bad.
yo, no, Sean Payton needs to be fucking shamed.
Yes.
Because
Shamed. Publicly shamed. You ever watch
Because-
Game of Thrones? You ever watch that scene with Cersei in the streets?
Yes.
That's what needs to happen to him.
yes. No, it's unbelievable how the man came into the season and pretty much gave himself an excuse. Tried to build an excuse here. There's a lot of damage. Last season was one of the worst coaching jobs I've ever seen. You're potentially worse. You're potentially worse. You just had 70 dropped on your fucking head. And I don't care if you take full control of the offense and stuff like that, and it's very limited in the defensive capacity. You had 70 dropped on your head. I don't give a shit if your offense has been better. It ain't been good enough because it seems like every time you guys seem to start to get something going on offense, something kills it. So this whole fucking Sean Payton saving the Broncos narrative that I believed in, I believed it. I shame myself because I fucking believed that shit. And now here I am, and here's every Broncos fan, a fucking fool. A fool. Sorry, Drew, if you're in here. Just a fool. Because they suck. They're fucking terrible. Russell Wilson is decent at best now. This defense is so flawed, and I thought it would be good coming into the season, but it's so damn flawed. I don't know what happened. I don't know. It feels like every positive you had from last year became a negative, and every negative you had from last year just became a slightly less negative, which is why you're an 0-3 football team. You were 2-1 to start the season last year, and here you are 0-3 as the worst defense in football. Shameful.
I'm so excited to watch this game next week against the Bears. It's going to be so
Why?
bad.
Isn't that the Thursday night game too?
No.
No. Is it the Monday night game?
I don't think it's
Isn't it in
time.
prime time, bro?
Definitely.
So,
Please
I
don't
wish
be
I
in
wish it
prime
was.
time.
I
think
wish
it
it
is,
was.
bro.
I
Please
wish it
don't
was.
be in prime time.
People on Twitter were saying it's going to end in a 2-2 tie. Each team's going to get a safety.
No. Time out.
That'll be
both,
scoregami.
both the defenses suck so
Oh, no,
much
it's
that
not
like they
prime
got to
time.
score a couple times.
Yeah.
They have to score a couple times. Look, I don't know where Russell Wilson's at in terms of the passing touchdowns, but like I don't feel too good.
I think it was 4, right? He didn't have one this week.
He did have one
Did he?
this week. Yeah, he did.
I think he's at
He did.
5.
He did
Oh,
have
nice.
one this week.
He's going to hit his bathrooms.
I just don't understand. I don't have much else to say about the fucking
What do you
Broncos,
do?
to be honest.
What do you do?
You tear it down at this point.
How?
I don't know.
I feel like at this point you just
You already paid Russell Wilson so much money.
You just
And you paid Sean Payton. Didn't you trade for Sean
A
Payton?
first and a second.
That's crazy that they traded a first and a second for a coach.
that's like a Rudy Gobert trade right there. That's how bad that is.
you just hate to say it, but you let it ride.
Let's ride. Broncos country.
Let's
Let's
ride.
ride.
Broncos country has to let it ride. I mean, what else do you do?
Wow.
What are you gonna trade PS2?
I was about to say that.
No,
No, you trade
To the
Sean Payton-
Cowboys.
You trade Sean Payton for someone else to someone else.
I don't know. You just
Trade
let it ride.
PS2 to the Cowboys right
Hopefully
now.
you get Caleb Williams, man.
Trade Sean Payton to the BallGame podcast for me. They'll be better off.
Nah, man.
Straight up. Straight up. Straight up.
Hi,
Dude,
Sean.
Wait. So here's my question. Do you think Sean Payton would be more miserable on this fucking podcast or coaching for the
I
Broncos?
feel like he would have more fun here.
Definitely more miserable. Well, no, we wouldn't be
He'd
able
be
to pay
ripping
him.
the fucking.
We couldn't pay him.
He'd be ripping the Penske Wellington with us. Oh God! You seen him hitting the bong in the offseason, bro? He'd be sitting here with me, Dean Ortiz, hitting the Penske Wellington.
Do you think he'd show up on time, or you think he'd be late too?
Nah, he'd be late. He'd be late.
Oh, my God. He wouldn't give a fuck. He wouldn't give a fuck. Oh my God. He was a good analyst. He was. You had it all made, Sean. It was all made. You didn't have to come out of retirement. You could have waited.
His mistake was bashing the previous coaching staff, and then you come in and you do worse.
Yep.
Yeah,
That was the mistake,
that'll
bro.
do it to you. But you know, you give up 70 points. Can't be all your fault. You got to give some praise to the other team that did the scoring of 70 points.
It
Devon
also-
A. Chain. Oh, go ahead.
It also can't get worse. Sorry.
Yeah,
It probably
but-
can't. Probably. Devon A. Chain was
All right.
phenomenal. What?
Nah, I was like talking and I got
I'm
cut
sorry.
it off
I didn't know
again.
that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Tua was elite once again. I'm a Dolphins fan, man. Let me get my monologue
No,
off, dude.
have your moment. Have your moment.
Tua, 23 for 26, 309 yards, 4 tuds, 0 interceptions, almost a perfect passer rating, 155.8. Devon A-Chain, like you said, he bursted out onto the scene. 18 carries, 200 yards, ran for 11.3 a carry. I think he had, 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns?
He did, four.
4 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 2 through the air. His partner, Raheem Mostert, 13 for 82, 6.3 a carry.
They're dating.
3 touchdowns on the ground, had 1 through the air. I mean, this offense was just humming. Tua playing with all the confidence in the world. Bro threw a no-look shuffle pass. He looked like fuck. You know the meme of Magic Johnson where he's like, that's what Tua was doing. I mean, the confidence this man was playing with. I tried to tell everyone. I really did. Oh, but their O-line stinks. Tua's going to get killed. He's going to be out by week 4. Their O-line's terrible. They won't be able to run the ball. Thing about offensive lines in the NFL is it's just about gelling at the right time. And that's what they're doing. They got Teron Armstead back finally, and they are gelling. They are the number 1 pass blocking offensive line according to PFF.
Yep.
And a lot of that is attributed to Tua. I think he's the fastest quarterback in terms of time to throw. He's getting that ball out quick. But also a lot of that has to be attributed to Mike McDaniel for the scheme and scheming him up to get the ball out quick.
And Tyreek Hill for being able to get his routes done quick.
Well, he's just the fastest
It's
human
not-
on earth.
normal that Tua is the fastest quarterback in terms of time to throw, but also he's near the top of the league in average depth of target.
Yep.
Those two stats don't correlate with each other. But, I mean, it's what Mike McDaniel has been doing this year through 3 weeks, having the receivers in motion from the inside outside so they could get a full head of steam. So these receivers are getting into their routes so fucking quick. So they're, 20 yards down the field, Tua is 1.5 seconds into his drop back, and he's getting the ball out. It's not normal. I saw someone write an article. I want to give the man his credit, actually, because it was a really good article. So I do want to give him a shout out. Bear with me 1 second. Keep bearing.
I'll
Brandon Anderson.
There you go.
On Twitter, his name is Wheaton Brando. He works for Action Network. His article was are the Miami Dolphins the Golden State Warriors of the NFL? Miami's offense is breaking football. And he did a great job just really breaking it down and comparing the Dolphins offense to the Warriors when they first bursted onto the scene. And it was just about how, it's obviously something we've never seen before. We've never seen an offense be this efficient. And like I said, getting the ball out quick, but also moving the ball in chunk plays. It's just not normal. And just like, shooting a bunch of threes, but also still being super efficient. You have a guy like Steph Curry, you have Klay Thompson, you have Draymond Green, who are not normal. Like Steph Curry, being this off-ball mover, Klay Thompson jacking up a bunch of threes, Draymond Green being the small ball 5. And it's just very reminiscent of this Dolphins offense. You have Tua Tagovailoa, who honestly, he has his flaws. Tua has his flaws. He's not the best quarterback in the NFL. Like, and I'm his biggest fan. I know he has flaws, but I don't know if I've seen in my time watching football a quarterback like Tua, who gets the ball out so quick, who throws with anticipation like he does, who's just so elite in the short pass, intermediate pass.
You know who he reminds me of?
Who?
Drew Brees.
That's a good comp, but even Drew Brees, the aura, bro. The aura. Drew Brees didn't have the aura like Tua. Tua has a fucking tattoo sleeve.
What?
Tua has a tattue sleeve, bro.
Oh,
and he's
Chris.
fucking Hawaiian or
Chris.
whatever it is.
I don't want to hear about Oro with Drew Brees. Drew Brees was him, dude.
No, I know. I'm just joshing, but Tua, we've never really seen anything like that. And then it's like you take Steph Curry and you pair him with a guy like Draymond Green, who's another guy who we haven't really seen anything like him. But the marriage just works so well. That's like Tua and Tyreek Hill.
Tua is the Draymond, Tyreek is the Steph.
Right, and then you add this run game with all this speed with Devon Achane and Raheem Mostert. That's where you get that Klay Thompson, where they're going to just be faster than everyone you have on that defense, just like Klay Thompson. No matter what defense you play on him, he's going to get his threes off.
Bro.
It was just, that was a really good article, and obviously I resonate with it because I am a Dolphins fan and I believe in this team. But, I mean, they're changing football. I mean, we know how the NFL is. It's a copycat league, and teams are going to try and do exactly what this Miami Dolphins offense is doing. And that's been the main concern with them because Mike McDaniel came from San Francisco. Yep. He was the run game coordinator, but in this is his third year with the Dolphins, or second year with the Dolphins? He hasn't really established the run game like that. These past 2 weeks, the run game has been not the best because the Eagles exist, but arguably the second best run game in the NFL over the past 2 weeks. So now you're adding this elite passing game, this passing game that if you sag your safeties off and you want to take the stuff over the top away, fine. We're going to beat you underneath. We're going to get chunk first downs over and over and over again. Then we're going to be able to run the ball down your throats. And guess what? You want to bring your safeties into the box to stop the run, to stop the short intermediate game? Good luck, because we're going to beat you over the top. I mean, they had the most efficient, the best, highest scoring NFL game we've seen in our lifetimes without their second best receiver, who is league known as top 12 receiver in the game. They did this, whatever top 15 we'll say.
15 to 20.
They did that without him. Like it's not normal how good this team is. And shout out to the defense too, who's not going to get much love in this game because obviously the offense put up 70. But my boy Javon Holland was the highest graded defensive player on the week. You had the highest graded offensive player in Tua and the highest graded defensive player according to PFF. So shout out to Javon Holland.
No surprise when you win by 50.
Right. And I mean, it's scary that this team is going to get Jalen Ramsey back. It's scary that Jalen Phillips is going to get healthier as the season goes on because he's been dealing with some injuries. It's scary that this defense has potential to get even better than they are because they haven't been, elite by any stretch of the imagination, but you're adding an all-pro cornerback back into this defense at like week 10, week 11, right when you need him for the tough stretch of the schedule. So, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, 70 points is crazy, but like, this is the best offense in the NFL, and people shouldn't have doubted them, in my personal opinion.
No, it sucks to say you were right the whole time.
I tried to tell y'all, Matt. You guys clowned me.
This is, honest to God, like the greatest offensive performance.
I was the only one out of all of us who had the Dolphins even making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Even making the playoffs. Come on, guys.
Okay, if I knew Aaron Rodgers
well, I was
going
gonna say Aaron Rodgers being out changes the little things a little bit.
I'll also say this. I also want to see it against a top flight defense. Like I want to see what they look like.
I think I might go, bro. I'm gonna be.
Where's that in Buffalo?
Yeah, I'm gonna
on
be
Sunday.
I'm gonna be in Binghamton, bro.
Shit.
And the tickets are expensive though.
I can't.
With the
I'm
fees on
either.
SeatGeek,
I
the
can't.
cheapest tickets I can find are $350.
I can't afford that.
And I have to
I'm
buy
going
two
Monday.
because my
Where?
woman.
Giants.
Like I can't go. I can't be in Binghamton
To
and
the
go by
Giant game?
myself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yo, see ya. I'm going to the
Who
game.
are they versing?
But no, the tickets are expensive. But if they drop, if I could get the tickets for under $300 each, I'm going. Like 100%.
What is it on? Is it prime time or no?
No, it's a 1 o'clock.
Fuck, that's so ass. That's so ass.
I want to go
Prime
so
time
bad.
is Jets Chiefs.
Yeah, and then Monday night's the
bro.
Seahawks Giants.
I'm going to that game by the
NFL
way.
schedule
so-
make
You guys want to go Monday night?
I'll go
You
with
got?
that.
I'm going with Lav. We were already like talking about it, so we were gonna.
You
let
didn't invite
everyone
us?
know. I just
Fucked
said we
up.
were talking
He
about
did
it.
just invite
Oh,
us.
you didn't buy tickets.
No, we didn't buy tickets yet, but we're
right, we're coming.
definitely
I'm there.
going.
Yeah,
we're,
I'm there.
We're going.
I'm there.
we're like 100%
Bet.
buying tickets.
How much are tickets?
I don't know. I saw they were as low as like $47 right now.
bet.
Some of
Bro,
them.
I'm
let's
there.
go like mad
And they're
early.
gonna
let's,
keep
let's have
dropping.
Yeah.
some food.
Yes, I was
Yeah,
about to
I'll
say
get
we're
someone.
gonna. It's perfect because it's a
Yeah,
Monday.
ball game fans, you're invited.
This is
Hell yeah.
why I keep those ping pong balls in my car, bro. For moments like this.
Whose car could fit a folding
What?
table?
I keep ping pong balls in
I
my
could-
car in
I
case
mean-
of an emergency, in case we need to play pong. I
What?
keep a full
Bro,
pack.
First of all, not gonna be able to take the same car.
We went to the
I'm
Giants Jets draft party, and we thought we were gonna take me, Maddie. You were there,
I was
right?
there, yeah,
the
yeah.
Shields and Tom, and we thought we were gonna pregame and get so wrecked. So I have a folding table and ping pong balls in my and red Solo cups
Bro, that
just in
was-
case of an emergency.
Why did we just go right? I think it was windy as hell, right?
It was
windy.
cold.
It was
It was
cold.
freezing that
But it was
day.
like April, right?
Something like
How
that. I don't
to
know.
be-
But we
It
were
was the
cold.
draft.
We were cold.
It was April.
Yeah,
was
but
the
it was,
draft.
it was like the first week of April. It was cold, dude.
cold.
The Shields had a full winter jacket
Yeah.
on and a little
Oh,
winter
that was
hat.
bro. That was fun though.
That was a fun time.
The Shields disappeared for a
We
little
were-
while.
Bro, I was.
Why didn't I go to that?
I was
I don't know,
like,
but those chicken sandwiches, bro.
Yo,
we got the
Bro,
fucking.
we were a little high.
I was on another planet.
We got
that
the.
day,
What
to
did we
be
get? That
honest.
dessert, bro. What was that?
the-
It was
dessert?
a cookie dough, bro.
Edible
Yo,
cookie
I
dough?
didn't even
Oh my
buy it.
God,
Someone
bro.
handed me the
We
rest
went
of
dumb.
theirs,
Mine,
and I
me.
ate the,
Me, I gave
ate
my
the
cookie
whole
dough.
fucking
Were
thing.
Tom and Clem with us too?
They weren't with us, but
But
they were there.
Yeah. Oh, that
Bro.
was a good. I enjoyed that.
I
That was
remember
fun.
I went
wish
to
I
the
went. I
bathroom.
don't know why I
That was
didn't go.
fun.
Yo, this is how
It was
this,
free.
No,
It was.
I had something. I
It
had
was
to have
like
something.
bad.
Very
It was.
calm, but like it was a good time.
Yes.
This is how bad it was for me, bro. I went to the bathroom. I got lost. I didn't know where I was. I'm gonna be dead honest. I didn't know
Bro,
where I
falling
was.
asleep during the draft when they drafted Sauce. I was like, yeah. I was like, I didn't even care anymore.
Yeah, bro, that was bad. It was a fun time though, and
It was
I'm
great.
100% going to this Monday's game.
I think about
just
those
gotta
chicken
figure it out
sandwiches
for
like
sure.
every other day.
All the, bro,
You know
all
how
the
they,
time.
you know how they talk about like guys like think about the Roman Empire. Like I think about chicken sandwiches from that life that day. Like,
Nah,
what I
that
think
shit was
about.
so much fun. I'm definitely going to the game Monday night, Giants Seahawks. I might be meeting up with Lab's family for a little while, so that's why like we're probably going to be
I
going
love Lab's
separately and
family.
stuff.
Live, lab,
So
love.
so yeah, if you guys are going, any of you guys are going, bro, let us know. Let us know.
Let us know.
We'd
We'll
love
have a
to hang
ball
out.
game meetup
We
in the
will have a
MetLife
little
parking
ball
lot.
game meetup,
Oh,
a little
yeah.
ball game hangout. We'll toss a pigskin around a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, yeah.
too, So
Yeah.
we'll toss the old
Yeah,
pigskin.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We should have a pod from the parking lot. Parking lot pod.
We could.
How would that work?
We
You
somehow
can make
could.
it work, Trunks.
We
have a
go
little bit
ask,
of an
we go
imagination.
ask the other podcasts that they have over there, like Talking Giants and stuff. Like, yo, can we use your stuff?
That's what
They
I'm
wouldn't
saying.
let us, but
Let's ask to be in the booth.
let's get big enough first, bro.
booth.
Let's get big enough first, bro. But yeah, no, that's gonna be a fun time. I'm excited for that game. It's a must win for the Giants. I feel like if there ever was one, because they have a massive
Well,
schedule. coming
yeah,
up.
dude. They suck. They suck.
They stuck.
Yeah,
they
stuck.
stuck. It's about as must win as it can be, especially because they have the Dolphins coming up, they have the Bills coming up, they have just a bunch of really good teams soon. So it's gonna get ugly in the schedule. So we do have a lot of games to cover. I'm not even sure I want to cover half of these games, to be
I
entirely
want
honest.
to talk about mine.
I was about to say I want to talk about your game, your game
The
specifically.
game you played in.
Okay, that was bad.
So
Go ahead.
going into it, I feel like we all knew, just based on last week, we're like, all right, well, it's the same Zach Wilson because week one beating the Bills, he didn't look the worst. You know, I don't want to say he led us to a win against the Bills. He was competent enough to put us in a position to where we had a chance to beat the Bills,
He
and we
didn't
did.
lose you the game.
Right, and we did. Last week against the tough Cowboys defense, we said, oh, it's just a tough Cowboys defense. It's one of the best D-lines we've ever seen. You know, you kind of give him another little pass, even though he throws 3 picks. You're like, oh, it's not really his fault. Going into this week, I understand it's raining. I know, bro. But when you have less than 20 yards passing in the first freaking half, and you're missing dudes that are open, and you're just scrambling out of the pocket and not throwing the ball, he looks like he's... We're talking about Zach Wilson, obviously. Zach Wilson looks like he's scared to make mistakes to where he's not throwing the ball. And then when he does finally throw the ball, it's at the wrong time and he is making mistakes. It doesn't make sense to me. The Jets can't get a run game going. The offensive line, yeah, they're bad, but when he does have time, Zach Wilson, he's not throwing the ball. He's just taking way too long in the pocket. They're getting 2 yards a carry. The receivers are dropping the ball. And to just stick on the offense, we're throwing Randall Cobb out there for 44 snaps, and McCall Hardman's getting 2. I'm sorry, you need to speed it up a little bit. You need guys that'll get open.
It's funny you say that. So I want you. I'll ask you guys a question. Who are the 3 players, bottom 3 in the NFL, longest time to throw on average? Bottom 3.
Well, one's Zach, obviously.
Yeah.
Justin Fields.
Yep. Who's the 3rd? Stay in that area in the sense that Young,
Mac Jones.
no,
Daniel
Bryce
Jones.
Young.
bingo. There it is. Those are the bottom 3.
I
Justin
cheated.
Fields, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, and Bryce Young are the bottom 3.
Surprising, the next 2 guys up are Jalen Hurts and not Deshaun Watson, really surprising, but Jalen Hurts being that low is
Well,
kinda
Jalen Hurts
surprising.
could afford to because his O-line is so great.
And also Jalen Hurts has struggled this season, if
Yeah,
we're
that's
being
what I'm
entirely
saying.
honest.
He also
so,
has struggled, yeah.
So just looking at the names at the bottom, I mean, there's one outlier, but he's like 8th lowest, and it's Patrick Mahomes. And then boom, there you go. That's the big difference. But he also has an elite offensive line. Zach Wilson takes on average 3.21 seconds to throw. That's a problem. That's a big, big problem. So
He's just not reading defenses, first of all, quick enough. And when he does finally read a defense, he's either sacked or he's scrambled 20 yards outside the pocket already, trying to throw on the run in the rain. There's nobody open. Either he's running out of bounds, getting sacked, or throwing the ball away. And there's just nothing productive happening. They couldn't get a first down until the mid-second quarter.
So obviously this is a given. If you throw the ball in less than 2.5 seconds, typically they're more effective. But when Zach Wilson makes quick, heady decisions, he's currently throwing it in less than 2.5 seconds. 75%, 24 of 32, 254 yards and 2 touchdowns, 8 yards per attempt. That is Zach Wilson when he gets rid of the ball in less than 2.5 seconds.
Right.
That is a very good quarterback. So
what I'll say to that is he has the physical talent. Clearly, he has physical talent. And I also think that as bad as Zach Wilson's been, the coaching's worse.
it is bad.
The play calling's worse.
Some of the throws he made were amazing, might I add.
He has physical talent. That's the physical talent. That's why he was drafted number 2 overall. You know, you drafted him off, the raw physical talent. He's not making good decisions, first of all. We know this. It's Zach
I wanna
Wilson.
use that raw physical
We know
talent
this.
on me.
You ready for this?
But Nathaniel Hackett's play calling has been bad. There's no receivers open. He's
Agreed.
getting no help. There's no separation. Even Garrett Wilson's not open a ton of the time.
He's miserable.
Randall, you got 30-something-year-old Randall Cobb running routes. I'm sorry, he's not going to get open for you. You got CJ Uzama out there instead of the young guys like Ruckert or even Conklin. It's just there's just so much wrong with this offense. You don't even know where to begin.
Here's the flip side. When he holds the ball for more than 2.5 seconds, Zach Wilson is lowest in the league in completion percentage at 40. That's by 7%. 7%. That's the same difference of first place Tua Tagovailoa and 5th place Brock Purdy. He is bottom of the league, 20 of 50, 213 yards, and 4 picks when he holds onto the ball for more than 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, he needs to get rid of the ball.
Can I ask, is this something that like someone tweeted or something, or you're filtering this on
PFF, I'm filtering this.
How do you do that?
So you just you kind of have to go to premium stats and then you go by position, quarterback. You do minimum dropbacks and you go to the box score report and I'm in time and pocket currently. That's what I'm at.
Yeah, those stats are pretty cool.
So there's a lot of stats that you can find on PFF. A lot of the stats that you find, I need to find the EPA, like the extra EPA stuff.
RBSTM.
So
You filter all that?
Just rbstm.com. That's the website that has all the EPA stuff.
Got it.
So we know about the Jets' offensive struggles. We knew this was going to happen when Zach Wilson came into play. We knew this was going to happen. We all saw it a mile away. Obviously, Zach Wilson's a problem. The offensive line's a problem. The lack of receiver depth is a problem. But you look over at the defense, right? a defense that was supposed to be dominant, that was supposed to control the game, that was supposed to get to the quarterback, get pressure, and they're not doing that.
Well, Mac pieced you guys up in the first quarter and a half.
Right, a secondary that's supposed to be great in Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed, and they're allowing completions on 3rd and long on the sidelines. And you look around and you're like, dude, how are you letting a simple Juju Smith-Schuster post route beat you every time? And they're not getting sacks. They're not getting pressure. You have John Franklin Myers, Carl Lawson, Jermaine Johnson, Quinnen Williams. No one's getting pressure. And you're just sitting here wondering, why are we wasting first-round picks on these D linemen who aren't getting pressure? They're not even playing. They're not rotating. It's all bad. They just look bad. The problems are running so much deeper than the loss of Aaron Rodgers. You sit here and wonder if Aaron Rodgers was playing, how much better would they even be? Because it doesn't look like they'd be much better at all. Zach Wilson's a problem, yeah, but everything else is also a big old problem for the Jets.
Yeah, to be fair, they'd be significantly better because one thing Aaron Rodgers has always been good at is getting rid of the football. He makes quick decisions. He gets rid of the football. Plus, the Jets' offensive line has really not been bad in general. And it just seems like Aaron Rodgers just makes a massive difference with Nathaniel Hackett because them two are best friends. So it's not just Nathaniel Hackett running the offense like it is right now. It was Aaron Rodgers' offense.
Well, that was designed around him, and the players that they put around him were designed around Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Like I said in our group chat, the Jets brought in Randall Cobb for Aaron Rodgers, and now the Jets just have Randall Cobb. For no reason.
No longer a good football player.
You just have an old guy there for no reason.
And then I can tell you Alan Lazard ain't no fucking 2.
No, for maybe Aaron Rodgers he is, but not for Zach Wilson. You have a big problem, Jets, and you need to figure it out quick, or else this is going to be another lost season, another season where you lose out on the rookie contracts of Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner. You just paid Quinnen Williams. You have this stacked quote-unquote defense, and you have stud pieces in Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson and Mekhi Becton running out of time on offense. Put it together.
At least it feels like you guys
get a quarterback.
Well, that's my big thing with the Jets. I don't really have much takeaways from this game. I just watched it when it was on Red Zone, and it didn't come up on Red Zone that much because neither team was in the Red Zone too much. But I didn't go back and watch this game back. I didn't feel the need to.
You didn't need to.
Yeah,
it was boring.
I didn't want to be bored. I wanted to enjoy myself. So my big thing with the Jets is if I was a fan, I'd be super frustrated with the front office as a whole. I'd be super frustrated. Like you said, you have all these studs on rookie contracts. You have this, what we believe to be elite defense. And I was saying this in the Dynasty chat this morning. Your window to win in the NFL is so small. Things are always changing. Teams are improving. Guys are getting hurt. The window to win in the NFL is so minuscule. 3 to 4 years normally. Even that might be a stretch. Sometimes your window to win is only 1 or 2 years.
Yep.
And the Jets have a window to win. And yes, it sucks. It sucks that Aaron Rodgers got hurt, but that's 3 weeks ago now. We gotta move on. And I respect them for saying, let's give Zach Wilson another chance. He was the guy that we were planning to be Aaron Rodgers' successor when he retires. We were gonna let Zach Wilson sit behind Aaron Rodgers, learn from him, and then hopefully be ready. But, unprecedented circumstances occurred. Aaron Rodgers is out for the season. You had to throw Zach Wilson out there. Fine, give him one more chance to see what he got. But how do you not bring in another quarterback as soon as Aaron Rodgers goes down? The odds of Zach Wilson performing in these circumstances were slim to none. We've seen a big enough sample size. We've seen 2 years of it already of him being
3.
Of him being the worst starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
And you would hope things would change, but the odds of that were just so slim, and it just baffles my mind that there's not another quarterback in that quarterback room. And
Trevor Siemian.
It's not the answer.
Right. It's just bro, if you wanted to start Zach Wilson after the Rodgers injury, fine. But you had to bring in some type of insurance to, in case Zach Wilson was bad. Because then it's all right, Zach Wilson sucks. We just signed a guy in week 1 after Aaron Rodgers got hurt. He's been here for 3-4 weeks now. He's learning the playbook. He's ready to go in there. But now if you want to bring in someone else, if you want to bring in a Carson Wentz out of free agency, you want to go trade for a Kirk Cousins, they're going to take an extra 3-4 weeks, whatever it is, to learn the playbook. You don't have time like that, and it just baffles my mind because this team has a legit window to win. And yes, there's always next year, but who's to say Rodgers comes back and it's the same quarterback, you know?
Right.
He's 39 years old and he tore his Achilles. You have a roster that could be one of the best in the NFL. To me, wasting another season of this great roster is a fireable offense to the GM.
I agree.
Joe Douglas has done a great job constructing this roster, but to me, it seems like he's scared to miss on this Zach Wilson pick.
He already did.
So
And it's just like Rob Saleh, like, yeah, he's saying Zach Wilson is the guy going forward.
he has to say that.
But right, what else is he going to say? Tim Boyle is our guy? Like, he has no other option.
Okay.
It's the
They're-
front
they're
office who's
so-
not putting pressure there. You have to bring in someone else.
So here's my thing. Great NFL teams, one thing they do is move quickly. You saw the San Francisco 49ers. They saw they failed with Trey Lance. They look, I know that he didn't get a fair shake. I understand that, but that was a team that knew right then and there, we have a team that's ready to win football games. I don't give a fuck if he's the last pick in the draft. We're going to put him in if he's the better player. You can't be afraid to make these mistakes. The biggest thing for NFL GMs, you're going to make mistakes. Every GM is going to whiff. It happens. How fast can you admit you're wrong? That's the biggest thing with an NFL GM. How quickly can you fix said mistake?
Right, especially when you have a team that's ready to win. Like, you look at the Bears, I give them some leniency, like, you know, keep throwing Justin Fields out there because, you know, the roster, you're not going to win anything anyway, no matter who's the quarterback there. So, you know, keep throwing Justin Fields out there, whatever. But the Jets, like I've been saying, they have a real window to be a competitive Super Bowl competing team. You have to move on. You have to fix this.
And
I don't know who the answer is.
It just feels like the Jets are making moves with like Zach Wilson's feelings
Involved?
in mind.
Yeah.
Like they're like scared to sign a quarterback because Zach Wilson's going to do bad the next week because he's going to feel bad about himself because he's scared to lose it. Bro, he's a grown man in the NFL.
It's a business.
Either bench him, get him out of here, trade him, get another quarterback, or call it a day because you can't worry about what Zach Wilson's feeling on a week-to-week basis, man. He's not doing good enough for you to care about that at this point.
Robert Griffin III, I will say, this is the one difference in the argument. The other side, playing devil's advocate, made the statement that Zach Wilson is their best answer simply because he's the only one that knows the playbook right now.
Sorry, I don't think that's true anymore.
right,
that's
my-
That was
I
before
don't
the
agree.
Patriots game. That was before that game. And after seeing what happened on Sunday, bro, that is not the truth. You give me any other QB2 in the
So you think
league,
if Carson
and you plug
Wentz-
him in. I'm sorry, you plug in Carson Wentz, and he will give you a better performance than Zach Wilson gave you this past Sunday. 100%. Carson Wentz isn't looking at open receivers and not throwing them the ball. He's not holding the ball for 4 seconds. Carson Wentz isn't doing that. I've seen enough Carson Wentz to know that he's not going to do that. I've seen enough of Zach Wilson to know that he is going to do that.
You see Carson Wentz and Matt Ryan called up the Jets, and they both told him no.
Matt Ryan, I saw the Matt Ryan thing. He's not coming out of retirement.
I don't really want Matt Ryan.
No, he called him and Carson
No.
Wentz. I saw
Matt
called.
Ryan, no, the Jets called Matt
The
Ryan.
Jets called
and
Matt
he said
Ryan.
no.
He said no. They asked him to come out of retirement. He said
He
no.
said he's happy with his place
I
on
don't know-
CBS Sports right now.
yeah,
I don't
he don't want to
know-
suit up again.
I don't know what the answer is.
I didn't see the Wentz.
I'd like to say that it's Kirk Cousins. I'd like to say that in the Vikings struggles and them being 0-3, that it's a perfect situation for the Jets to go out and snag them while they can and make a move quick, because the more weeks go by, you end up being 1-5. You dig yourself a hole to where if you trade for Kirk Cousins, you're basically just giving away picks because it's so hard to come back anyway. Because what, Kirk Cousins is going to come in week 6, learn a whole new playbook, and you're already 1-5? It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's my big issue. Why has there not? If you wanted to start Zach Wilson and see what he got, fine. But why was there not a backup option?
There should have been a move this morning.
Like, going into the season, Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback and Zach Wilson was the backup option. The Commanders, for example, Sam Howell was the starter, Jacoby Brissett's the backup option. When Aaron Rodgers goes down, especially having a guy like Zach Wilson who's proven only to be bad in this league, you need to bring in a backup option. It
Right.
makes no sense
Tim
to me
Boyle's
that there's-
QB3 and he's only QB3. Tim Boyle's not a backup quarterback.
Right.
He's less than that. He's a practice squad. He's only on the roster because he played with Aaron Rodgers in the past.
He's a glorified offensive coordinator for you guys.
Exactly.
At this point.
Exactly.
That's on the
really
He's
roster.
not
like-
touching the field.
It is like, in my opinion, it is terrible general managering not bringing in another quarterback because already at this point going into week 4, it might be too late.
Douglas, he's got to be on the phone right now, right? He's got to be.
You got to go for
He's got to be.
bro.
There's no way Saleh is not in that man's office saying, please get me a quarterback because I'm going to lose my job.
Right. And it's just like we're saying that now. He must be on the phone. He must have been on the phone on fucking
The
On
second
9/11,
that
yeah.
Rodgers
after
got
Rodgers
hurt.
got hurt.
The second Rodgers
It just
got
makes
hurt.
no sense to me. It really doesn't. 'Cause this
I-
roster has the potential to be great.
So I asked this: if you get Kirk Cousins, where's the ceiling?
It depends when we get him, dude. If we get him today, you could still make the playoffs. You could still maybe pick something up. If you get him in 2-3 weeks, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over. And you're just giving whatever pick you're giving Minnesota is for free.
No, I agree. I'm with you on that. So it's an issue, man.
And I think the only guy that could bring you to the playoffs at this point is Kirk Cousins. I'm sorry, if you sign any other guy at this point and you end up being 1-4, 1-5, they're not bringing you to the playoffs. I think if you get Kirk Cousins and he can sling the ball and he can make quick decisions, there's a chance you squeak in with that defense. But anybody else, there's no chance.
That's why it's so fucking frustrating because you got ahead of the curve. You started out 1-0. You beat the Bills in shocking fashion. Like you got ahead of the curve. You gave yourself some leniency, and now through 3 weeks, it's all gone. Now you're 1-2. You're in the hole.
Right.
You're in the hole.
With
And
easy
even-
matchups not on the way.
Even
by the
in the
way.
Patriots game, I know you guys didn't watch the game.
I did.
But there were so many opportunities for the Jets to go beat the Patriots. The Patriots are seriously nothing special at all. The Patriots are so bad. They're so bad.
They handed you the game on a silver
Multiple
platter
times.
twice, bro.
Multiple times, dude. The Patriots said, please beat us right now. and Zach Wilson couldn't get a first down.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, it was.
it has to be frustrating as a fan.
You guys almost
Like,
had that Hail Mary, crazy enough.
Yeah.
And it slipped through. Who else? Randall
it didn't-
Cobb's hands.
It didn't slip through. That was almost impossible to catch that ball.
You
would have caught that ball, but nobody else would.
I'm just saying the frustration it is to be a fan, to sit through that whole offseason and be so excited for a team just for, first of all, Aaron Rodgers to get hurt. Yes, it happens. It's devastating. Second, to not make a move. To sit there and watch Zach Wilson be as bad as he is. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Being all in, but also not being all in. What does that mean?
That's
What does that
exactly
mean?
my
Yes.
point. Like, yes, like it's
Yep.
devastating to lose Aaron Rodgers to injury, and yeah, the season's probably chalked up after that. Like, there's no chance after that, but at least try. At least try.
It's so frustrating, dude.
Yeah, I think y'all gotta make a big time move and very soon, or it's all over for this season, Deanie. And you can
all
look forward
over
to the
now.
next. You could look forward to the next. There's only one silver lining. You're getting your first round pick this year. That's it. The only silver lining. For
I
you.
didn't want it.
Yeah. All right.
If it's a top 10 pick, do you draft a quarterback?
Yes.
You have to, right?
Yes. You cut Zach Wilson and you draft a quarterback, and if Aaron Rodgers comes back, he sits behind Aaron Rodgers for a year.
So
Yes.
me and Lav had the exact same conversation. Do you draft a quarterback if you end up with a top 10 pick? I said no. I said no because there are going to be players available to you that you can draft in the first round that are going to help you potentially win a championship next year with Aaron Rodgers back. You're all in now on Rodgers. This is your window.
Because you know what? Aaron Rodgers, let's say that the Achilles injury, it doesn't pan out. You need another backup plan because
This is
that's the
Aaron
problem.
Rodgers signed what, a 2-year contract?
he has two. No, he's 3 total, so it's 2 more after the season.
I wasn't
He's done after the contract. You know, like he's done.
I
He's
wasn't
not-
saying that you don't draft one at all. I think he's a developmental guy in the 3rd round. I think there's going to be enough quarterback talent that falls in this draft personally.
But you need to
because
get it right. It needs to be right.
I
If you're
agree.
Joe Douglas and you pray to God you still have a job by then, you need to get it right.
That third
number
round
one
pick needs
priority.
to
There's
hit.
nothing
No,
more
not the
important.
third round.
No,
That's the priority.
There's nothing more important than getting a quarterback in that draft.
When you do Madden rebuilds and it says team needs, quarterback is number one. That's the number one team need. That's
I don't
what
care
you
if you
draft.
have Aaron Rodgers.
If there's a quarterback on the board that you have a high grade on in the first round, you draft him. It doesn't matter.
It's so tough because there's two, namely, offensive tackles that are just elite and would
It
help
sucks.
immensely.
Well, this is what happens when you whiff on Zach Wilson and you keep throwing him out there to where he has zero value anymore, and you pick up a 39-year-old quarterback that tears his Achilles and it leaves you with no quarterback options. That's what happens. You can't take the tackle that you wanted to take because you're stuck because you need to take a quarterback.
It's over.
Might as well just rebuild now.
Yeah.
Just blow it up.
Speaking of being over, the Commanders.
I was gonna move on to them next.
The Commanders lose a heartbreaker, a thriller to the Buffalo Bills, 37-3.
Thriller.
I can't believe I let O'Sleazy convince me into picking the Commanders to win this game. I didn't believe that with my heart, but man, it was a struggle bus for us.
You love that
Down.
I don't even know. I don't even have. Shout out to Josh Allen and the Bills because the Bills after week one, they flew under the radar like Dean said they would this year. Obviously, week one, they were in the spotlight. Monday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers' debut, and you go out there and lose. But past 2 weeks, I feel like no one's been talking about the Bills, and they've had two straight absolute beatdowns, annihilations.
Yeah.
So shout out to the Bills. Shout out to the Bills defense because Terrell Bernard has been fucking incredible for them in the middle of the field.
Yes, he has.
But in terms of the Commanders, we're objective on this show. I'd like to say
we are
we
very
try to
objective.
we try to be objective. We try to leave our bias to the side for the most part. Obviously, we're not professional. We've never played in the NFL. We never had any connection with the NFL. At the end of the day, we're fans, so we're gonna have bias. I have bias towards Sam Howell, like that's my guy. But be objective. Sam Howell was terrible in this game, but it bothers me that people are out on Sam Howell after this game.
I agree.
It pisses me off. And I get it. 4 interceptions, 19 for 29, 41.5 passer rating. Like, it's fucking terrible. Like, he was awful. But what happened in this game was a lot of what we already knew, I feel like. Sam Howell's biggest concerns are he holds on to the ball too long. He takes a shit ton of sacks. I think he's leading the NFL in sacks taken, and that's not always an offensive line stat. That's a, holding on to the ball stat. So he was terrible, but I'm not out on him because this game doesn't diminish the flashes he's shown. He has very good arm talent. So I'm not out on Sam Howell. In terms of the Commanders as a whole, the O-line is fucking dog shit. The O-line is terrible. They're not doing him any favors. And it's going to be the same thing next week in Philly. It might be even worse. The O-line's terrible, but I'm not out on Eric Bieniemy either as the offensive coordinator. But they have to adjust their scheme a little bit, in my personal opinion. They're not getting the run game going until the second half for whatever reason. I don't know what the deal is with that. They're just expecting Sam Howell to throw the ball every time, and it's not working. In the second half of the Broncos game, they ran the ball. Look what happened. You won the game. In the second half of this game, you tried to run the ball a little bit. Brian Robinson averaged 7 yards a carry.
Yep.
He's been the best player, probably on both sides of the ball, honestly. He's been the best player on the team through 3 weeks, Brian Robinson. Many men. But
Many men.
I was watching the Steelers-Raiders game on Sunday night, and I know a lot of people have so many concerns about Matt Canada. He might be the worst offensive coordinator in the league.
He's
But
horrible.
what Matt Canada did was
Made one good play call.
a lot of play action, a lot of under center, a lot of bootleg, a lot of move the pocket for Kenny Pickett to protect him, make life easier for him. And yeah, he's not taking a bunch of shots. But in terms of Eric Bieniemy, we know Eric Bieniemy is going to dial up some shot plays, so I'm not concerned about that. But make life a little bit easier for your quarterback. Throw some screens out there. Line him up under center. Please stop making him line up in the shotgun every single play. Line him up under center. Get some play action bootlegs. Get him outside the pocket and let him. Sam Howell has wheels. He could be a very effective runner of the football. You got to design some of that stuff, put the defense in a position where they have to either stop the pass or stop Sam Howell from getting outside the pocket. Make the defense have to make a choice. Make life easier for him. And, we see it through 3 weeks. The receivers are fucking dog shit in terms of stats. Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin. Curtis Samuel's probably been their best receiver through 3 weeks, which is a problem.
So, amongst all players that have played every game so far this season, the lowest number of play actions, there's 2 players, Sam Howell and Justin Fields. 12 attempts, both of them. He hasn't fared great on them, but 7 for 12, 58.3%, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. But they don't go to it.
That's not a big enough.
That's not a high enough
size.
sample size for me to say anything about it. So it's rough.
I'm not a coach. I'm a fucking fan. So, I'd like to believe the guys who get paid the big bucks to do this stuff know better than I do. But to me, it's just like, if I could point this stuff out as a fan, how you got to be able to point it out as a coach, as a GM, as, whatever, working in the building. He was due for this type of game. Sam Howell was due for this type of game. He's essentially a rookie quarterback. We've seen quarterbacks have terrible games as rookies. Obviously, some of them have a higher pedigree, so you give them more slack. But I'm still in on Sam Howell. It doesn't change my thoughts on him whatsoever. I would love to see the offense just become more simple for him. I know that's kind of a tough ask for Eric Bieniemy, coming from one of the more complex offenses we've seen over the past decade in Kansas City. But, you got to, as the season goes on, adjust your scheme, make life easier for your quarterback. And I think they will. I'd be shocked if we don't see more, easy, screen passes, play action stuff against the Eagles next week. So there's really not much analysis. Yes, Sam Howell was terrible. But all in all, it was a terrible game for the entire team besides Brian Robinson.
Yes, Sam just needs to get rid of the ball quickly too. He's another guy, just make quick decisions.
Yeah.
Don't overcomplicate things for yourself. And he's very capable of extending plays. We've seen that. There was one play, I think it might have been in this game. He broke 2 people's ankles.
Yeah, and had a 19-yard. He broke
and
a
had to
tackle,
scramble.
broke 2. That's what I'm saying. We saw it at UNC in his junior year.
Fully capable.
He's more than capable of as a runner. Help him help you. Get him outside the pocket. Let him make some plays with his legs.
You've seen some of the throws he's made getting out of the pocket. They've been some of his best throws of the season.
And you see a guy like Kenny Pickett who, again, terrible scheme that's not taking shots, but when Kenny Pickett gets outside the pocket, he looks great.
Very good at it.
Matt Canada, yes, it's tough for the Steelers, and we'll talk about them when we talk about them, but he's at least making life somewhat easier for his young quarterback. Okay. You know what I mean? So I think that stuff will come as the season goes on. I think you adjust the scheme as the season goes on. Sam Howell isn't Pat Mahomes.
No. And as for the Bills, they're back.
They're starting to do what we expected them to do.
They're back.
Yeah.
Which makes me happy because I'm excited to see how far this team can go. And it feels like the weaknesses that they previously had in terms of their pass protection, in terms of the run defense wasn't phenomenal in this one, hasn't been phenomenal throughout the entirety of the season, but the weaknesses that they had, it feels like they're starting to patch them up a little bit. The run game is getting going with James Cook. James Cook seems to have been the guy all along that they needed to unlock this run game. And Damian Harris and Latavius Murray are perfect complements to him. I understand the way that they treat this, with pretty much James Cook just being the between the 20s guy and then obviously them two being the goal line backs. It works. This offense has a whole nother dimension. Dalton Kincaid is going to be more involved as the season goes on. He only had 2 catches for 3 yards in this one, but there's so many different sets they can run.
There's so many different weapons on this team.
So many weapons on this team. And, Gabe Davis, all it takes is this. All it takes is 1 catch for 30-something yards and a touchdown. And, Stephon Diggs is still Stephon Diggs. So
this is exactly what you wanted, Dean. Like I said, these past 2 weeks have been absolute beatdowns, and no one in the national media is talking about it. No one's talking about it.
This is what you said in the Bills TikTok,
They're flying
under the radar.
Flying under the radar, and they look exceptional. So definitely,
For a second, I was like, wait, what did I say?
big shout out to the Bills. Big shout out to Josh Allen for taking Josh Allen. The counting stats don't really jump off the page. 20 for 32, 218 yards, a touchdown and an interception. But some of those throws he was making were incredible. There was that one early on in the game, the rollout. He was practically out of bounds, threw a fucking dot to Diggs. The touchdown to Gabe Davis was one of those beautiful pylon shots
Jesus Christ.
through where only Gabe Davis could get it. So
Smart Josh Allen is
they're balling.
very much competitive for the best quarterback in the NFL. Smart Josh
Either
Allen.
looks like the best quarterback in the NFL or someone who's worse than Zach Wilson.
Tom makes a good point in the chat. Every year, if the
That's
Bills,
just not true. No one's worse than Zach Wilson.
Tom says every year if the Bills don't blow people out, they don't look great. I want to see them win some competitive games.
I
which
agree.
Is a fair point.
That is 100% the case with them.
Got a game this week.
Completely
Miami and
That's a big one.
Buffalo.
Huge.
not related. I just wanted to throw like a question out there. Jamarcus Russell or Zach Wilson?
Oh my God.
I'm not too familiar enough with Jamarcus
Sorry,
Russell's game.
I ain't familiar with your game.
I'm not.
Tricali's looking at you like, I don't know who the fuck Jamarcus Russell is. He's the biggest bust in NFL history.
You don't know who Jamarcus
could
Russell
argue.
is?
Of course.
Him or Ryan Leaf?
Are you serious?
Find it after the podcast. Find a YouTube video
Yeah, no.
about learn about Jamarcus Russell, and
He,
then
like-
Friday we're gonna come and ask you to summarize it. That's your homework. I'm being so dead ass.
He
Just
was the
find a
first round
fucking
pick for the
10
Oakland Raiders years ago.
I'm sure someone made a 10
Bro,
minute
not first
YouTube
round,
video.
first
Someone
overall.
definitely made what happened to Jamarcus
Yeah, so
Russell
find a
because
video.
the dude was insane in college.
Yeah.
But just go find a video of Jamarcus Russell.
I
Watch
can't
it
believe
when
you
you're
don't know who
brushing
that
your
is.
teeth or something. Watch it when you're brushing your teeth. Just
Wow.
educate yourself.
What
on
about you know who
Jamarcus
Ryan Leaf is?
Russell. No.
Wow.
Trunks doesn't.
I'm not a historian
Yeah.
in football.
That's like knowing who like Greg Oden is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
these
Pretty
are
much.
like the biggest busts in NFL history. These guys.
I mean, if someone doesn't know basketball, are they going to know
Probably.
Greg Oden? Probably not.
I guess not.
Yeah, but you're supposed to know football now.
Yeah, you're on a.
All right, but I don't
Podcast.
know football history. We don't talk about football history on this podcast.
Maybe we should.
Maybe we should.
Who knows football that doesn't know basketball that we know?
Doesn't know basketball.
What about Mangini? You think Mangini knows who Greg Oden is?
Yes.
100%.
100,000%.
I'm gonna call him.
Call him. Call him live on the pod.
I'm gonna call him.
100,000%.
Right,
I'm just
that-
gonna
that's
say
a good
we're
name.
definitely not getting to every team. Sorry, guys. We're just not.
I mean,
going.
Mangini definitely knows more basketball than Trunks knows football. though,
Yeah.
I think basketball is just easier to follow, though.
It is.
Let's see if Mangini
Let's see.
answers. He might
Wow.
be at the fish market.
There ain't nothing funny about that. I
buying
don't know
fish.
why y'all laughing.
No, it's just hilarious.
It's not funny. It's just hilarious.
The way that it was said.
Yeah.
All right, Mangini didn't answer. We'll get to that.
Okay, cool.
All right, what's
Who
the
else?
next game?
Who else?
Bus?
Probably talk about the Packers.
Kwame Brown.
We could talk about the Packers. Yeah, we got to kind of just pick and choose who.
Yeah,
who
we kind
wanna
of
do
got.
now.
What do we have left? We have the Seahawks.
We're over like two.
The
and
Browns, the
15.
Seahawks, the
All
I
right.
want to talk about the Ravens.
All right, let's do this real quick. Browns Titans 1 sentence thought. I'm serious.
Titans fucking suck.
The Browns beat the Titans 27-3. What are your quick thoughts? What are your-
Deshaun looked a lot better.
Is Deshaun back?
Will Levis is going to be starting in the next few weeks.
the Titans defense is Swiss cheese and the Browns defense is the best in the
That's
league.
what I was about. That was my other sentence. The Browns
All right.
defense is the best defense in the entire NFL.
Cool.
Okay, next up.
Chiefs Bears.
Lions Falcons. Lions Falcons.
Is this one going to be as quick as the Chiefs Bears though? Yeah, it's going to be quick.
Yeah, it's quick.
The Lions, Jared Goff looked awesome. The Lions are probably everything we thought they would. Well-balanced team on the ground, passing. The defense has improved. Sam Laporta looks like that guy. The Falcons, Desmond Ridder needs to do more. The Falcons' defense has been super impressive.
It has. This is a type of game where you see what happens when a team could shut down the run game.
We need Desmond Ridder to throw the ball, please.
Kyle
That's the
Pitts
takeaway.
started the week.
Desmond Ridder needs to step up.
Desmond Ridder needs to step the fuck up, and Jared Goff at home is a top 5 quarterback in NFL history.
Can't say you didn't expect this though.
Yeah, no, you definitely did. That's the thing. Desmond Ridder just ain't him. It's okay. It's all right. Kyler Murray will be an Atlanta Falcon next year.
All right.
Next up, let's see.
Chiefs Bears.
Taylor Swift.
T Swift.
41-10. The Chiefs absolutely demolish the Bears. It was over.
Do we want to spend a second on Justin Fields? Do we? Because
One of the clips of him, I think it was from last season, is like resurfacing on like TikTok and Twitter. I think it was against the Colts where the whole defensive line just went back. They didn't rush him, nothing. It was basically 11-on-5. And Justin Fields just stood there for like 10 seconds and then just right to the defender. It's so funny. It's hilarious. I gotta find it.
I don't even know, man. Like, just watching some of this game, they're broken. The Bears as a whole are broken. Like, I wouldn't even say I'm against the fact that the Jets should just trade Zach Wilson for Justin Fields at this point.
Just swap and see what happens.
Just swap and see if the situation.
Well, I think Justin Fields is still clearly the better quarterback. Is it clear?
No.
Yeah, it's clear.
No,
I'd
Justin
say
Fields is the more dynamic quarterback.
With much more potential.
Yeah.
Agreed.
We no. We know
I don't
exactly what Zach Wilson is. We've seen a little bit out of Justin Fields, enough to say that he deserves more chances.
I'm gonna be honest.
Zach Wilson doesn't deserve anything.
Just because of the fact that Justin Fields is such a good runner of the football, I'd give it to Justin Fields. But Zach Wilson, this is how bad it is, might be the better passer of the two. To be entirely honest,
It's close.
Yeah, it's close.
he might be the better passer.
I
of
think
the two.
physical talent, obviously, Zach Wilson's more talented as a thrower.
Yes.
Honestly, hopefully the Bears lose to the Broncos next week so we could spend more time on the Bears.
Yeah,
But
we'll talk about Justin Fields
let's-
next week, probably.
Let's fucking move on.
Yeah.
Steelers Raiders 23-18. I have no takeaways from this game. The Steelers defense is elite. The Raiders defense sucks.
Devontae Adams wants out.
Yeah.
We need better coaching
as
from the
he should.
Steelers at the end of the game there.
Yeah, that number one and number two. Kenny Pickett is not as bad as people think he is. He just needs a chance. Give him a chance with
It's a good thing he's a starting quarterback, so he's going to get more chances.
That's not what I mean. Matt Canada's fucking horrible. I will say, though, that play call on third down was a phenomenal play call to get Allen Robinson open. They ran that exact formation multiple times throughout that game, all of which were run plays, and then they immediately got Allen Robinson open on a rollout from Kenny Pickett. That was a beautiful play call, but
the
everything else
Steelers look
sucked.
just fine without Deontay Johnson.
They're missing Deontay.
He would help.
He'd help big time.
Yeah.
He'd help big time. Pickens, it opens a lot up for Pickens when he's out
Deontay's
there.
just always open, so like,
Yeah.
he's going to help. The Steelers seem to only be throwing the ball short and doing that intermediate stuff, so Deontay Johnson's the guy that helps there.
Exactly.
I saw someone on
Exactly.
Twitter say Najee runs like he wears jeans.
Oh no! Oh no! Yo,
It's rough
somehow,
for Najee.
some way, Najee literally makes his stat line look half decent with like one or two runs every game. It's every game.
Yeah, it's bad though.
Josh
On
Jacobs
a consistent
might
basis, he's not too great.
be a part of the 400 curse, the 400 plus touch curse, though. Unfortunately, so that's another thing. But
Should have never changed his number.
yeah. Outside of that, Seahawks Panthers. What are our quick thoughts?
Andy Dalton looked good.
He looked okay.
Looked solid.
Adam Thielen looked good. The Seahawks offense is elite. The defense leaves a little bit to be desired.
I wish we had Andy Dalton.
I'm happy. I'm happy that Ken Walker's balling out because they keep fucking lowering his snap count and he just keeps fucking producing more and more.
Bro, he's
Like
such
Ken-
a high energy dude. He
Ken Walker is the guy, bro. Like Zach Charbonnet is a good player. He really is, but it just Ken Walker is that he's a dynamic running back. Like in my opinion, he's probably top 10. He's that good.
He's one of the 5 best big play threats in the entire NFL.
He's so elusive. He's strong. Like he has all the fucking tools of a great running back. So feed Ken Walker, man.
Speaking of this team, DK Metcalf, I saw you showed interest in him in like BTB League or some shit.
I am interested.
I was like, oh shit, we'll talk trades on that because my team sucks. What did you just? Is that the Justin Fields play?
Justin Fields pick.
Oh no.
That's like one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen.
I mean, to be fair, they dropped 11 in coverage.
Yeah, but at least like throw it deep or something.
Yeah, I don't know. What that
Yeah. I
But-
mean,
Wait, did you guys see Zach Wilson check it down on fourth down?
yeah, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
horrible.
Okay, sorry. We
2
can-
yards past the sticks, by
we
the
can,
way,
we can continue.
with
Yeah.
a guy on his back.
We don't
You
need
know
to
what?
talk about that. I just wanted to point out
That
was
reminded me of the
worst
fucking
decision.
Kirk Cousins throw, but that was even shorter than the Kirk Cousins throw.
Yeah.
So that was bad.
Yeah.
but
Yeah, the Seahawks are a good squad, but that, as you said, that defense does leave a lot to be desired right now.
yeah, the Seahawks do sit at 2-1, but me personally, I had them winning the division. I think that's out the fucking window. But
Nope.
I would have thought they'd be a little bit better through 3 games. I think Bobby Wagner is a little bit washed.
I came around on the Seahawks right before the start of the season, but I still had the Niners winning the division. I just they're not on the level.
I think
They're
they're
not.
I think they're still a really good team. I think they're gonna make the playoffs. I think they're
Agreed.
still a playoff team, but I would have liked them to be better. Like I said, it's still a long season, so like they could get better as the season goes on.
For sure.
No concerns about the Seahawks. I don't really
Nah,
think they're
I don't
probably
really-
exactly who the majority of people thought they would be.
Yes.
a pretty competitive team. Not an elite team, but pretty competitive. Geno Smith still looks great, so that's good to see.
Gino's a baller.
Yeah.
Gino is as good as we thought he would be again, except for Dean. Dean didn't believe in him.
still
Next
don't.
up, Packers and the Saints.
What a
I just
game.
want to add Derek Carr getting hurt threw a wrench in this whole fucking game.
Yeah.
Because Derek Carr was playing really well prior to exiting the game. Makes me sad. Thank God it's not a serious injury. I think it was an AC joint sprain. And apparently he should be back in a couple weeks, but Jameis is going to be the starter for the next few. I don't know how to feel about that. And another one of my takeaways from this game is Chris Olave is that dude.
Mm-hmm.
He is that dude.
Yeah.
Outside of that, from the off the Saints side, Jordan Love might be one of the most confusing quarterbacks I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
Doesn't make sense.
I don't know how to feel about
Look at him on this quarterback efficiency. chart.
Exactly.
Like, this isn't normal, bro. He's third in the NFL in EPA, but worst in completion percentage, worst in expected completion percentage, worst in, not worst, 32nd out of 34 in completion percentage over expectation. Like, it's just weird. His receivers are dropping a lot of balls, but I feel like Jordan Love has a huge arm, and he's not necessarily learned how to use it yet.
No.
Seems like he's lacking touch on a lot overthrows and stuff like that. But I mean, hey, like leading a 17 point comeback is impressive nonetheless. He's been great. Like I said this after week 1, my thoughts haven't changed. Like I said about Josh Dobbs, just his pocket presence, his poise, his command of the offense has been super impressive. I expect the drop balls from the receivers to probably get better as Christian Watson and Aaron Jones get back into the lineup, and the touch will get better with time. So I think Jordan Love's, it's hard to tell. I don't know if he's like a franchise guy, like a top 7-8 guy in the NFL potentially, but is he the guy for the Packers right now moving forward? 100%.
So
They're not going to look in another direction in terms of quarterback. You know what I
on
mean?
deep passing, Jordan Love has 16 attempts of 20-plus yards. He is 3 of 16.
That's bad.
18.8 completion percentage. And he has not had one drop on a deep ball so far to this point. So it is simply just him not being good at throwing the deep ball at the current moment. And then if you change that, you go to the intermediate throws. So we're talking 10 to 19, 13 of 25, 52% completion. Still not great. He isn't accurate. He just isn't a very accurate quarterback just yet. And that's okay. And that's fine. But overall, I don't know. He confuses me. I don't know what to make of Jordan Love right now. I don't. I have no idea. So,
I mean, he led those drives in the fourth quarter. I was pretty impressed, but other than that, the rest of the game was not too great.
Yeah, it's hard to he's probably just about a middle of the pack quarterback.
yep.
I seen some guy on Twitter, I don't know who it was, who has him as number
Middle of
one.
the pack.
You got to give him a little bit of grace here. Like this is his first real opportunity being
for
the
sure,
guy. So
for sure.
Obviously he's not a rookie, but you got to give him that kind of
A little bit of leniency,
like
yeah.
you would a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
This is his first real
For sure.
opportunity.
No, I've definitely been overall grade. I'd probably give him like a B plus, maybe a B, but like
I'd say B minus.
like out of 100, I'd probably give him near 70, 75 around there. Like
Yeah.
he's been fine. He hasn't been a negative to the team for the majority of it. Obviously, you want him to complete some of those deep balls, but I think it'll come with time.
He'll take it right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, he is.
the team is good enough to win games despite that too. So
What are they, 2-1?
He is an odd case study. He
lost by 1 to the Falcons.
is a very odd case study. He just low completion percentage, just touchdown to interception right now is great.
It's so weird because his completion percentage is so low, but when he does complete a pass, it's so efficient.
Yeah. It's also just receivers creating after the catch too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how to feel about Jordan Love. I need a lot more time before I can make a legitimate decision on how I feel about
in his
Jordan
career?
Love.
5?
This might have been like his 4th.
Right,
think that was his
exactly. So
fourth.
he needs way more time to be evaluated.
So I have no.
I think
final
after a
decision
full
on-
season, we'll be able to talk about Jordan Love fairly.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right.
Last
game.
team, I mean, last game, yeah. The Colts beating the Ravens 22-19.
The Colts,
I love it.
The Colts don't look bad.
I
They
love
look like
the Colts.
best team in their division right now.
They're playing such pressure-free football, and it's so wonderful to see. I love watching Gardner Minshew go out there and have fun, and Anthony Richardson cheer him on the sidelines. I love it. No Jonathan Taylor. Michael Pittman's having a day. Josh Downs looks solid. Their defense looks amazing. Like, dude, I couldn't be happier about what the Colts are doing.
You know, what the fuck? This makes no sense to me. Usually, running backs, when they come into the league, they're either good or not fucking good. Zach Moss came into the league and he was ass. Zach Moss is now good. What is going on? What is happening? I don't understand
He's
it.
proving to the Colts that they don't need a. Why would they pay Jonathan Taylor? Why would they ever pay Jonathan Taylor when Zach Moss could do this?
You know, that's the craziest part too, because he is proving that. He's proving that you don't need to pay a running back.
Jim Irsay looks like a genius right now.
All of this, every time you see a backup running back just stepping in and playing incredibly well, you start to realize, oh shit, maybe we don't got to pay a running back a lot of
You
money.
don't. And that's what the modern NFL has realized, that you don't need to pay these guys. It's unfortunate for the position.
I'm all for everyone getting their bags.
Right.
by
It's
the way.
unfortunate for the guys that deserve it. It really is. Like I hope they can make their money, but in terms of a team standpoint, why would you pay a star running back more than $10 million a year? It's just not responsible as a team builder.
Yeah, I don't even know how to feel about this because Zach Moss has been good. He's been legitimately good for this team. And outside of that, I mean, the receiving core is produced. Your guy, Michael Pittman, is balling out so far this season. So Gardner Minshew, Anthony Richardson, it doesn't matter. Why? Why does it not matter? Because a certain somebody is now coaching this football team, and that's Shane Steichen. And Shane Steichen, it feels like no matter who the fuck his quarterback is getting the most out of them. What the hell just happened? What the hell just happened?
None. Just keep talking about shit.
I didn't even think about that. Wow. That's crazy.
Shane Steichen is balling. No, the Colts are cool. I don't really take much away from the Ravens. They're super banged up. The Ravens just get healthy come playoff time. Go into the playoffs healthy. But Kyle Hamilton's a fucking baller. 3 sacks on the day. Forced fumble.
Yeah, Kyle, they are confusing as well.
Lamar looked good. Odell being healthy would help. Lamar looked great on the ground. Obviously,
yeah.
that's what Lamar does. I don't know. It's hard to really analyze because they're so fucking banged up.
They are so injured. So incredibly injured right now. I'm pretty sure they're missing Ronnie's. They're missing like 2 or 3 offensive linemen, and then they're missing like 4 defensive starters. There's a lot going on.
I know
there.
Odell didn't play, so it's like I
Yeah,
don't know. My
there's a
only
lot.
real takeaway from them is hopefully they get healthy come playoff time.
Agreed. And then Gus Edwards got hurt.
Yeah,
Jeez.
they had Melvin Gordon out there fucking getting carries,
Melvin
bro.
Gordon, Kenyon Drake. Let's go.
Crazy,
Who they just signed again this week.
crazy,
In
bro.
Kenyon
Both
Drake.
of them. No, they just signed both of them.
Yeah.
This Ravens
Insane.
team's going through it right now with the
Yeah.
Kings. It's all right. They'll hopefully
Yeah.
figure it
Shout
out.
out, shout out to the Colts.
Browns are the best team in that division.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So
All right, let's bang these last few
Yeah.
things out and fucking wrap it up. You want to do the fantasy stuff or the power rankings and shit? Oh, real quick, who plays Thursday night?
Packers, Lions.
Who wins the Packers-Lions game on Thursday night?
The Lions.
The Lions.
Lions win.
The Lions win. Cool. We're all in agreement. All right. Matty J, do the thing about the start and the sit.
Do the thing.
Who is your fantasy football start of the week?
My start of the week is Justin Fields. There was any week for Justin Fields to get back and get right. It is this week against that Swiss cheese Denver Broncos defense who just allowed 70 points.
Nice. My start of the week is DJ Chark against the Minnesota Vikings. Chark had 11 targets this past week going up against a terrible Minnesota team.
My start of the week is Josh Jacobs. He hasn't been great this season in fantasy, but this week he's going against the Chargers. I think he's going to have a breakout game this week, and he's going to go crazy.
Trunks, who the fuck isn't starting Josh Jacobs?
That's what I was going to ask.
Well, I mean, no, I'm confident starting Josh Jacobs. I think he's going to have like a boom week this week. He's going to have like,
Boom.
I don't know.
boom,
So your
boom.
start of the week is a 2nd round pick.
yeah.
That's not the point of this, but it's fine.
I think it's a good pick. I think there's people who have Josh Jacobs who are
Yeah.
contemplating sitting him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say
hasn't been
I would
good.
sit J.K. Dobbins.
He hasn't been good this season so far.
Okay. My start of the week is Josh Palmer. He had 7 targets this past week and just 61% of snaps. I'm expecting his role to obviously increase due to the unfortunate fact that Mike Williams just tore his ACL. So I'm expecting about 7 to 10 targets as per usual in a pass-heavy offense, and he should be a PPR machine. So, who is your fantasy football sit of the week?
My sit of the week is going to be Mike Evans. I know Mike Evans has been really good thus far, but he's going against the Saints, and that secondary has been balling. Baker Mayfield came back down to life a little bit this week, so I'm avoiding Mike Evans this week.
My sit of the week, it's gonna be Gabe Davis. I know he had a solid first few weeks of the season going up against Miami. It's just a tough defense to go against. He's also super inconsistent, so sitting Gabriel.
This kid Dean has picked Gabe Davis for one of the two in every single week so far.
Well, he's one of those players that's always on the verge of either. So he's an easy pick to pick boom or bust each week. You know what I mean?
That's
Fair enough.
My sit of the week this week is Brian Robinson. He's been great this season so far, but this week he's going against the Eagles, who allow the least rushing yards per game at 48, and I do not want to touch that this week.
I want to touch it.
So, unfortunately, my sit of the week, Dean, is your boy Garrett Wilson.
Oh, sit him the rest of the season. I'm confident in that, honestly.
So, the Chiefs have been allowing the 5th least fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. They also have one of the better pass rushes in the entire league, namely one guy, Chris Jones, who is going to absolutely make Zach Wilson's day miserable. So, Garrett Wilson ain't going to do much, unfortunately. Being that I have a lot of stock in Garrett Wilson in fantasy, I'm not very happy about that.
Honorable mention, start the Chiefs defense this week, please. If it's the last thing you do, if you have the Chiefs defense, start them.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But, yeah.
All right. NFL power rankings post week 3. Make sure when you guys do this, go 5-1, not 1-5.
Mm-hmm.
So at 5, I'm gonna slot in the Dallas Cowboys here. Trayvon Diggs out for the season. Just lost to what we think is the worst team in the NFL, the Arizona Cardinals. Have to move them down. At 4, it's gonna be the Kansas City Chiefs. A pretty dominant last 2 weeks for them. It's Patrick Mahomes. Got to give him that respect. At 3, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. They're 3-0. They have to be in the top 3, but the other 2 teams I think are better. What?
Continue.
Keep going.
At number 2, I have the San Francisco 49ers. Dominant win against the Giants this past week. And number 1, it's the Miami Dolphins. They just put up 70 points in an NFL game. How can it not be the Dolphins?
At 5, I have the Dallas Cowboys as well. I can't forget what they've been doing the past few weeks of the season. You know, they've been the best team so far. I'm not going to drop them out of the top 5.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep it together. I can't forget. Sorry, my bad. I'm sorry. I couldn't keep it together.
I'm not going to drop them out of the top 5 just because they lost to the Cardinals. At 4, I have the Bills. They're looking like what everyone expected them to look like the past 2 weeks. I got to have them in my top 5. At 3, I have the Eagles. At 2, I have the Niners. They've been dominating everyone every week, and that's continuing. And at 1, I have the Dolphins. They just put up 70 points, just like Chris said. How can't they be number 1?
All right. So my top 5 starts with with the Cowboys at 5. I had the Chiefs at 4. The Philadelphia Eagles at 3, identical to Chris at this point. But I change it up, and at 2, I go with the Dolphins. And at 1, I go the 49ers. And the only reason why I switched that is because I'm a little bit of a hater, I guess. I think the 49ers still are just a little bit of a more complete team in terms of defensive line and their offensive line. And their run game, is going to be consistent every single week. As much as the Miami Dolphins have shown us thus far, I'm still going to trust the 49ers a little bit more.
All right, this is very tough for me. Okay, so at number 5, I have the Buffalo Bills. these last 2 weeks have shown everybody what this team is fully capable of. At number 4, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs obviously have finally put together a regular season defense that is about as good as their, or close to their regular season offense, and that's a very impressive feat for them. Obviously, come playoff time, they've been stepping up typically on the defensive side of the ball, but to see this in the regular season and with the talent that they have, they are incredible and might very well be the Super Bowl favorite in a couple weeks. At number 3, I have the Eagles. They're 3-0, but they look incredibly shaky for a 3-0 football team, especially this. I mean, not this past week, but the first 2 weeks in the season. Obviously, they dominated the line of scrimmage in this game against the Buccaneers, but prior to that, seemed a little iffy, and they've been overly reliant on their offensive and defensive lines. Jalen Hurts hasn't looked like himself, not the MVP candidate from last year. Number 2, I have the San Francisco 49ers. To be 3-0 and to be number 2 and to dominate teams in the fashion that they have means that one team just has to have dominated their competition even more. Lo and behold, at number 1, a team that put up 70 and beat a football team by 50 points this past week, the Miami Dolphins. It is that simple. I kept the Cowboys off because of the Trayvon Diggs injury and because of the fact that they just lost to the Arizona Cardinals. That is why I had to keep the Cowboys off the list.
That's fair.
All right. NFL MVP ladder post week 3. So I know it's a quarterback award, and as the season goes on, I'll get quarterbacks in my MVP ladder. But as of right now, there's only one quarterback that's really impressed me to the point where I have to have him in here. So at 3, I have Myles Garrett. I think Myles Garrett has been the best edge rusher in football this year. I know you can make the case for TJ Watt, who has 6 sacks, but Myles Garrett right behind him with 5 sacks. Myles Garrett with 18 pressures. Watt has 19. So Garrett has 1 less total pressure than TJ Watt on 57 less snaps. So in my opinion, Myles Garrett has been more efficient. At number 2, I have to have Tyreek Hill. 4 touchdowns, over 400 receiving yards. He's been special. He's been the second most valuable player in the NFL this season, in my opinion. And then at 1, it's obviously Tua Tagovailoa. Nothing needs to be said for Tua, the best quarterback in the NFL through 3 games.
I completely agree with the Myles Garrett take. I have him at number 3. Completely unguardable. Makes offensive coordinators have nightmares the night before games. It's really is a crazy thing to see. Did you see that play where the Titans had to call a timeout?
Bro.
Because he was moving back and forth in the line.
My God.
Because they were planning on double teaming him.
They were going to triple
They
his ass.
literally, he broke their play just from moving back and forth. He forced a timeout. That's unheard of. I've never seen that before in an NFL game. Anyway, at number 2, I have Patrick Mahomes. Pretty obvious. Patrick Mahomes is one of the greatest to ever do it. And then number 1, I think everybody should have Tua at the top of their list. Clearly, what does he have? Over 1,000 yards already. He has 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's number 2 in completion percentage. He has the second most touchdowns in the league. He has most yards per attempt. He's just the best quarterback playing right now.
I have Patrick Mahomes at my number 4. Just want to throw that out there. I just wanted to give the other guy some love.
Nice.
That's fair. Yeah, I have Patrick Mahomes at my number 3. Like you said, it's a quarterback award. Patrick Mahomes, he's the best player in the league, obviously. 2, I have Tyreek Hill. It sucks I can't put him number 1. I really want to, but like we're saying, it's a quarterback award. No receiver is going to win this award ever. And at number 1, I have his quarterback, Tua. He's been, like you said, he's been insane the past few weeks. If he keeps this up, how many yards is he going to throw for? I don't know what he's projected, but
A good amount.
He's on pace for upwards of 55.
yeah.
A good amount of yards.
Yeah, you have to have him number 1. If you don't have him number 1, your ranking is just wrong.
It is just wrong.
It's just wrong.
So this was tough for me because I was between 4 players for my number 3 spot, and that was TJ Watt, that was Myles Garrett, Tyreek Hill, and Chris Jones. Chris Jones was the other one that I wanted to mention. So you know what? I'll pick Chris Jones and put him at 3.
How?
I know he's only played 2 games.
2 of the 3 games.
2 of the 3
you can't
games.
do that. You got to change that, bro. You can't have Chris Jones in your MVP ladder only playing 2 games. That's not fair. That's not how it works.
He's been the best defensive player in the league over these first 2 games. Over these last 2 games.
I don't know, man. I don't think that's how it works.
When is he
Alright.
allowed to have him in his ranking? Week 4?
Yeah.
75% of games.
At least 75%.
Ah, fuck. All right, cool. So I'm gonna take TJ Watt.
Jalen Hurts didn't win the MVP last year, and what did he miss? 2 games? 2 games total, and that's why he didn't win the MVP?
Yeah.
My boy missed a third of the season.
So in the similar vein that how we say NBA players take away from each other a little bit, I think Tyreek staying out of the top 3 simply because Tua is going to be my MVP winner. Obviously, sorry, spoiler alert. My number 3 is going to be TJ Watt. For him to be as dominant as he is, as consistently as he is pretty much, him and Alex Highsmith have willed the Steelers to winning games to this point. So TJ Watt absolutely has to be in the conversation. At number 2, yes, as you said, Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is the same as Micah Parsons in terms of just physical dominance over another player. And Micah obviously being one of the fastest dudes in the entire league for that matter. Myles Garrett has the combination of size, speed, and strength that I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I've ever seen before. So I'm taking Myles Garrett at number 2. And then obviously, kind of a giveaway. It's Tua Tagovailoa.
I
Yeah,
did say it.
it's Tua. It's simple. It's Tua. Who else? Who else should win MVP at this point? I mean,
Zach Wilson.
I want to throw Justin Herbert in there. I want his name to be involved, but it ain't even close right now because he's 1-2. So, unfortunate.
Trunks, you said you had a TikTok segment for us?
Yeah.
All right, let's do that. We've been here this long anyway. We might as well.
You're so right.
And then this is the end.
Guess the NFL team based on their players' fantasy rankings through week 3.
Amazing.
First try this time. Team 1, quarterback 23, running back 13, wide receiver 1 is 10, wide receiver 2 is 51, tight end 16.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
No,
What was the quarterback?
23.
New Orleans Saints.
No,
What's the running back?
13.
Atlanta Falcons.
No,
Nah, it's terrible. Wide receiver 10.
It's terrible.
terrible.
Huh.
Fuck, this is rough, man.
Oh.
Quarterback 23. No.
You can guess it.
No, I don't want to.
All right. What if it's them?
It's not.
The Jaguars?
No.
The Dallas Cowboys.
No.
Oh, no, wait. Tony Pollard's higher than
The
13.
wide receiver's 10, you said? Ah.
The Seattle
Washington
Seahawks.
Commanders.
No and no.
The Denver Broncos.
No.
Obviously not.
The
No.
Lions?
No.
Oh, God, bro. We're running out of teams.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
No.
Here. No.
The-
Indianapolis Colts.
It's the Colts.
Let's go.
Team 2, quarterback 15.
Wait. Sorry.
Who's their running back?
Was the quarterback...
Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought about
I just
the
picked the
Colts,
higher
but I
ranked
was
one.
like, I
Yeah.
didn't know. All right.
Team 2, quarterback 15, running back 3, wide receiver 1 is 21, wide receiver 2 is 35, tight end 23.
The Seahawks.
It is the Seahawks. Team 3, quarterback 13, running back 28, wide receiver 1 is 13, wide receiver 2 is 19, tight end 39.
Who's QB?
Seahawks. No, you fucking.
No.
Wait, what was it?
Are you paying attention?
What was the quarterback?
I was.
13,
And the running back?
28.
The Saints?
No.
The Lions.
No.
No.
Nope.
Nah.
No.
What's the wide receiver?
13 and 19.
So a good duo.
The Raiders?
No.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
No.
Evans is higher. Oh my God.
The Texans.
Fuck! He beat me to
the
it.
Texans. It's the Texans.
It's the Texans.
Fuck! He beat me to it. I was about to say it. Oh shit! Damn it.
All right.
Good shit, man.
That's the Ball Game podcast.
All right. You want to do?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Make sure you guys go check out our partner, Thrive Fantasy. Hopefully you guys have better luck than we do because it's looking rough for us. But when you sign up for Thrive Fantasy and use code BallGamePod, they're going to match your first deposit up to $250. You put in $250, they give you a free $250. It's free money. Why wouldn't you sign up? You guys, if you're listening to this podcast, I know your ass is gambling on football anyway. Go get some free money to gamble with. Use code BallGamePod. And also a big shout out to our sponsors over at SeatGeek. If you guys don't know, SeatGeek is the best ticketing app on the market. They grade their deals on a score of 1 to 10. They also grade them by color. The green deals, you want to buy those. Those are good. The red deals, I would personally stay away from those. And also, if you use code BallGamePod, you'll get $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's code BallGamePod at checkout of your first purchase for $20 off. Thanks again to SeatGeek and Thrive.
It's genuinely so easy to use SeatGeek. Literally walking into the game, I bought my section 120 something tickets, 14 rows back, $40 each. Walking in, delivered literally immediately on my phone.
Best ticketing app on the market.
That's seriously what it is.
So,
SeatGeek.
all right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Check out all those videos in the past and follow us on all of our socials.